Yes, Mr. Preacher.
Mr Croker, you've overlooked one thing. The mafia. They'll be waiting for you.
Yes, Mr. Preacher.
Well, Croker, you've overlooked one thing. The Mafia. They'll be waiting for you.
Good evening, chat. And it is indeed, oh, good night, I guess. It is very, very late. Welcome, chat. How are we all doing? It's good to see you all. It's good to see you all. We are very, very late because we have a very special stream tonight. Both me and Kevin, yes, indeed, Sir Kevin of Loganshire, As We Live and Breathe, are both going to be on the Leftist Mafia podcast. Ooh, podcast! Assuming it starts. I was checked out Lance's stream and they're still watching videos. So it was meant to start 3 minutes ago, but it has not done yet. So we'll see when we end up starting. Not sure what's going on, but hello, we can chat. What's the stream title referencing? So the quote that I just played is from The Italian Job. The Croker in the name is a reference to the main character, Charlie Croker, who forgets about the fact that if you're going to try and steal gold bullion from the Italians, you will have to deal with the Mafia. And of course, I am going on to a podcast called The Leftist Mafia. See, it's a reference. I did a reference. That's it. That's why the stream is titled the way that it is. I do apologize. I'm incredibly tired. I am very, very, very tired. I got like 2 hours sleep last night, and I've actually done a full whole day's work because I was on Novara. So we'll see how it goes. Did everyone enjoy today's Novara? Assuming people watched. You don't have to watch. If you did, I hope you had fun. I certainly thought it was a good show. I managed to get my my monthly boomer rant out of the way, so can't really complain. David is GTA. I don't know what that. David is Grand Theft Auto. Although David Doubleson, Canadian, right? He talks about like Harvey Lewis and people like that. I mean, I also am pretty nocturnal, so I can understand. Greater Toronto area. That makes sense. That makes sense. What platform does David stream on?
It's quite literal. Yeah.
Hey.
I keep adding myself. I think you're taking me out. Hey.
Sorry, David. How's it going, everybody? I'm sorry I'm late.
What?
No worries,
I was
no worries.
not told that Helena would be here. This is an outrage.
Surprise! I've usurped you.
Unbelievable. Now, how are you, Helena?
Doing
Yeah,
well.
good. Yeah,
You're good.
Not
Awesome.
too bad.
I'm glad to meet you both. I'm familiar with you both, but I don't think I've ever done a stream with you all, so I'm super excited to have you here.
Yeah.
Well,
Me and Kevin, we've never met before. We don't know who this person is.
No.
I could tell.
Well, I don't like to associate with British people. They're evil. So.
It's true. Whenever we get raided for an American or a Canadian stream, and we're just like, I know you hate it, you hate the fact that we're British, but believe me, we hate it even more.
yeah, we have to live here. You know what I mean?
Literally.
That's why you have a New York City sign behind you, right there with Zoran.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, as an American, I'd happily trade citizenship with either of you.
I mean, the healthcare's. I mean, I'll take the free healthcare.
Healthcare is good, actually. And in terms of being run by like evil pedophiles, it's a scratch. So
that's true. That's a fair point.
That's just the world at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, should we
I mean,
go
Sir
live?
Keith is boring and is a boring liar and does awful things, but at no point has he fucked any children. So, you know.
To be fair, though, no justice. When speaking to foreigners, don't call him Keith because that's not his fucking name, and they won't know
It's
who
true.
you're referring
It's
to.
true.
Oh, you mean Keir Starmer?
Sorry.
You call him
Yeah.
Keith?
Yeah, it gets
we call
called
him
Keith
Keith.
because it sounds
Oh.
like a really boring like office manager's name.
Well, and also because
that's what it is.
he's not good enough for the name Keir. He
Oh,
doesn't
yeah,
deserve
I
to be
have heard that
called Keir
commentary.
Hardy.
Yeah.
Mm,
I
very
love
much
that.
Yeah, Mike, let's go live.
Alrighty. I'll go ahead and get that started.
Пошли. Все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства?
They want you to comply.
Cancel culture is about canceling.
Кокаином.
Up yours. Woke moralists.
They seem animalistic is what I mean.
No, they're worse than animals.
The woke mob, they ruin everything.
They stop Ben Shapiro from going to events and speaking. They stop Ann Coulter from doing it.
I will never surrender even a single inch of ground to a pitchfork mob.
You never cave to the mob.
We will never bow to the mob. Ever. No matter what.
Do you see the final expression of cancel culture in terrorist groups like
Up yours.
We'll see who cancels who. They want you to comply.
Hey, how's everybody doing today?
Hello.
Howdy.
Nice to see everybody. We have some wonderful guests here today. We have Kevin Logan and No Justice MTG. Welcome to the show.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here. By the way, just for clarification, it does not mean Marjorie Taylor Greene. It means
I was going to ask
Gathering.
that.
That's such cope. It obviously does. Like, come on, man.
No other famous
You can say
MTGs other than the was it George's 14th, right?
Mhm.
That's right.
Indeed.
Magic the Gathering is the only other famous MTG I can think of, and that's it.
Yeah, it ruined that acronym. So I did, unfortunately, think Marjorie Taylor Greene as well.
I just call her Marge now. I feel like Marge is more offensive. It's
Marge.
It
just
does
Marge.
sound more offensive, but it also can sound more like Simpson, like Marge Simpson. Maybe that's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking
that's what
of.
I think
so
of. I just think
kind
of
of
Marge
endearing in a way.
Hmm.
Isn't she part of the resistance now? Shouldn't you get her on this show?
We did
Oh,
welcome her to
God.
the Resistance.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. She's actually my top contender for 2028. So looking at her real strongly.
Well, arguably, she is to the left of the governor of California in some respects. So
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. So
Hello.
I want to point out. So it's probably like middle of the night for you both, right? Like it's got to be 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Oh wow.
1:42 in the morning.
42. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming here.
It's okay.
Why would you
to
subject
talk.
yourself to this?
Well, we're both degenerates who are up at this hour anyway, so it's
Okay.
fine.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
Well, this is the middle of my day, basically. It's fine.
This is when I
Okay.
usually do my editing, right? I usually do my editing at night.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's good. I always feel bad whenever we have an international guest and it's like 4 a.m. and they're here and, you could just, I get the anxiety for them like I do for David when it goes
Yeah, I was going to
past,
say,
like-
you should feel bad enough for the East Coast. Like, the fact that I got to
I
be
do,
up
David.
at 8 p.m. is ridiculous.
It's a
I do,
3 hour time
David.
difference.
It's too
Yeah.
much for me.
I
But
do
no,
feel bad.
we're both night owls because, like, if you're awake during the day in Britain, there are British people about, so you just don't want to be going out at that time.
That is fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
Do you want to give everybody an introduction to yourselves and plug your socials and all that fun stuff?
Ladies first.
Absolutely. So I'm Helena, but my handle is @NoJusticeMTG on literally every single platform. It's incredibly helpful that every single tag on, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, it's all at NoJusticeMTG if you want to follow me on all my socials. I stream UK politics 6 days a week from a socialist perspective. I also contribute to Novara Media. If anyone is familiar with them, I host their Novara live show. It's like 6 p.m. GMT every Thursday, weekday, that is. Yeah, if it sounds like your kind of thing, drop a subscribe.
Yeah, well, I feel very personally called out for the lack of consistency in my branding now. That's outrageous. Anyway, I'm Kevin Logan. I'm a socialist from the UK. We do exist, I promise. We're not all weirdo like authoritarians and TERFs and pedophiles. British people of decency do exist, I assure you. Yeah, I'm Kevin Logan. You can find me at Kevin Logan on YouTube or at KFLogan1875. Very easy to remember on Twitch. And yeah, I stream inconsistently, but you will occasionally catch me, and that's where you can find me. Hello.
Okay, very cool. Very happy to have you. So lots of stuff happening, not just in the United States, of course, but I know that like in Canada, there is the leader of NDP's Avi Lewis.
We have hope.
And
we finally have our own Polanski or Corbyn.
Yeah, you're getting your Corbyn treatment.
Yeah. It's now the Polanski treatment, and it's explicitly the Polanski treatment because it is electing a Jewish anti-Zionist and immediately getting called anti-Semitic because of it. You know,
yeah,
like
that's
all
right.
of these anti-Semites who really want a Jew to be prime minister.
It really is incredible. That was the first attack they went. I mean, one of the first attacks they went for. It's just like, wow. I saw this playbook with Corbyn. I'm seeing it with Polanski now. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
But they've had to up the actual anti-Semitism of their own attacks now, because in order to call him an anti-Semite, they have to refer to him as like a useful Jew and stuff. It's really gross. Like it's becoming like Nazi hours. Frankly,
yeah, I knew he was going to get a lot of attacks from the Groypers and the far right and stuff. I did not expect the level of racism he's getting from like Zionists specifically, like people saying that like he would have ratted out Anne Frank and he's a traitor to his people and all this stuff. I'm like, that's fucked. And that's coming from Canadian Jewish Zionists like that are putting that in the replies to like his own posts and stuff like that.
And the op-ed in the Globe and Mail wasn't even from a Jewish person. It was from somebody who's not Jewish, calling him, saying the NDP is now anti-Semitic. Like, what the? Not even just is led by Avi Lewis, the new leader. Also, they replaced the former leadership team with at least, I think there's 2 more Jewish people on the leadership team now as well. Like the idea that now they're anti-Semitic because there's Jewish people leading the party. Like, it's so completely ridiculous.
Well, it shouldn't be that surprising, I think, because the thing that must be borne in mind is that obviously there are Jewish people who are anti-Zionist, but most Zionists aren't Jewish. The vast majority of Zionists on Earth are evangelical Christians in North America.
Right.
Who are explicitly Zionist in order to bring about Armageddon that will lead to all people except them, including therefore all Jewish people, burning in a lake of fire for eternity, which is totally not anti-Semitic, you understand.
Yeah,
not great.
They never include that footnote in their articles. Like that should probably be there.
I never heard Ted Cruz add that part of this at the end of his speech, right? So you can all burn in the fires of hell. Like, wait, what? What was the last part?
The best example is literally the president of the United States, who oversaw the destruction of Gaza and gave Israel the permission to do so, is Joe Biden, an Irish Catholic who proclaims himself to be a lifelong Zionist. I mean, if that doesn't tell you that it's not the same thing as, Zionism, criticism of Zionism is not the same as saying anything about the Jewish people, then I don't know what else is. I mean, you got an Irish Catholic who's the main Zionist.
No, I'm not having this America-based cope. He's not Irish. He's American, okay? Once you leave, that's the end of it. You don't get
Irish Catholic is like a religion here. It's not the same thing as the Roman Catholic. It's an Irish Catholic.
Like the Americans fucking do this, and it's really annoying. Oh, you're from Italy. Oh, what part of Italy? San Francisco. What the fuck's Italy?
I'm Italian-American. What can I say?
To be fair, I claim that I'm an Oregonian instead of American. But if I were to travel internationally, I would straight up be saying I'm Canadian, because you don't want to expose the Americanness. So if you can get away with a Canadian or maybe British or Australian, if you have a good enough accent, that's what you're going to do, just because it's a little bit embarrassing to say you're an American, because there's always the question, do you support Trump? Do you own a gun? how crazy are you? Did you fuck your cousin? There's just stereotypes about Americans.
I don't think I've ever
that are
asked
mostly
for
true.
Mike, I was about to say, Mike, I notice you're not answering any of those questions, though.
Yeah, true.
Just so.
He
for
wants
the
to
record,
avoid them.
I did not fuck my cousin. I'm not on speaking terms with most of them because they're MAGA. And the other, I'm basically I feel like spiritually, I am non-American. I am Canadian because I'm more closer to, Canada than the heart of America, which is like the South. If you want to call that the heart. I don't know. I don't want people to know, so I try to hide that. And I think I'm not alone.
It might change one day, if things get better.
Listen, if you all want to conquer us, I am not going to resist.
Say that was gonna happen.
Special military operation to denazify America.
I would not.
That would actually make more sense than what's happening.
I mean, that's the thing, right? It's that we
so long.
Even in British discourse, we continually hear the case for the humanitarian concern in Iran, the necessity of regime change, the same propaganda that we were fed with Saddam Hussein in Iraq and all that shit. And I'm just like, well, if there's two countries which would necessitate regime change, who kill their own citizens, who don't allow a free press, I mean, literally locking up people for reporting against the government, then we should be doing regime change in the United States and in Israel, right? Like,
yeah,
I agree. What's the vibe like in the UK? Because my read from an outsider is that it's going in one of two directions. It's either full Nazi Tommy Robinson style reform Nigel Farage, or there seems to be some hope in the form of the Green Party right now.
those are the two parties leading in the polls. The polling average just put the Greens in second place now, and Reform are actually losing some support.
Wow.
Actually, they're really being hurt by the Iran war and by the connections to Trump and Elon Musk and people like that. Because actually, even amongst like Tory voters in this country, Trump is insanely unpopular, and only Reform voters are basically split down the middle on him as well. Reform were winning a lot in like disaffected post-industrial areas, so they basically in the UK. Most cities, most post-industrial cities in the north are like Detroit, Michigan. Most industrial towns that used to have like car production or like made chairs or whatever it was, those places are all like post-industrial ghost towns, and those areas are full of mostly retired people, and they're not particularly particularly big fans of migration, and they see a Labour government that doesn't do what they want to do in reinvigorating those areas, and they feel betrayed, like Michigan and people like that felt betrayed by Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, people like that too.
Yeah, you're seeing, I think, a kind of delayed version of what you've seen in Europe, where the traditional centre-left and centre-right parties have totally abandoned their core voter base in order to chase this neoliberal, post-history world, and they're being swept away and being replaced with, so in some cases, much more extreme versions of what they once were, because the times are more extreme.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is that it's a very specific in the UK too, kind of an artifact of first past the post, which I guess all of us are on some of the very few countries still left inflicted by this terrible voting system, where every single party is intensely focused on capturing the mythical swing voter, which actually doesn't really exist. People vote on vibes a lot of the time rather than being centrist or whatever, but they have this kind of idea, what's called the Mondeo man back in the 90s that Tony Blair targeted, of the middle class, middle income, aspirational swing voter, and that hyper focus has meant that the Tories abandoned most of the kind of the right wing base by increasing migration, and the Labour Party went way away from the trade unions. It went way away from what we saw in terms of protectionist values for heavy industry. It moved away from state ownership and things like that, and higher taxation on the rich, and that pushed their base away because again they didn't want to seem like they were too high taxation, too socialist for the centre ground. And so all of that triangulation, right? Kevin describes Keir Starmer as a triangulation machine. All of that has just made this, then the base gone, we hate you and we don't want to vote for you anymore. So they're going for actual full-throated, either hard right or far left politics.
Well, this is the thing. The thing that gives me hope isn't just that Zach Polanski and the Green Party are doing quite well, which of course they are. They just won their first ever by-election in Manchester a couple of weeks ago. But the fact that they're gaining so much support and so many members is reassuring to know that there are a significant percentage of the British population that aren't just fetid, rancid scum, which is nice. It's nice to have that confirmed once in a while.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, because the thing is, like all countries, I think probably Americans and Canadians and various other people can attest to this as well, is that most of the people are okay to good, right? They're just fine. They're just normal people. But the people who run the place are like the worst evil bastards in the world. But they run everything. They own all the papers, they own all the TV stations and the radio, and they set the agenda. And so it's a loud, noisy Epstein class of people who get to set the agenda and make it seem far more right-wing and reactionary than the actual population is.
Absolutely,
that's true.
Yeah.
I don't feel the outside world is anywhere near as horrifying as Twitter is. Like you know, and I also find that people who behave like with Twitter brain get beat the fuck up in real life. Like you can't just run around dropping slurs and saying like all that fucked shit, right?
We have
I was just saying, interestingly, we have a leader of the opposition at the moment who is basically just Twitter brain made human.
She decompresses on Twitter, like in her car. It's very funny.
Literally, she did a whole thing about how she eats steak for lunch, and that people who eat sandwiches for lunch are basically big, gay. Basically, you're basically gay. If you
on top of that as well,
right?
There's
a moment where just fucking weird. And she's literally, and now her party's cratering support. Who would have thought it? Twitter isn't the real world, you mad bastard.
This isn't even the craziest Twitter brain moment that Kemi Badenoch did. So she beefed with David Tennant on Twitter because she's a transphobe, right?
Doctor Who,
and literally in her Conservative Party leadership pitch introduction video, she said, "I should be the leader of the Conservative Party because I'm not scared of Doctor Who." This is the level of online brain rot that she's living in. But even then, she's not even the most online brain rotted party leader. We literally have a Twitter only party in this country called Restore Britain, which is led by a guy called Rupert Lowe. He's the MP for Great Yarmouth, and he was originally elected as a Reform UK MP, but he was basically purged because he might have usurped Nigel Farage. But that's the theory anyway. And he started his own meme party on Twitter.
Races for reform, you say? That's not good.
Literally, 2 races for reform. He's a proper like weirdo ethno-nationalist. He's gone really far off the deep end. But yeah, like he has this absolute army of online Twitter bots who do not exist in real life.
Yeah. Oh, entirely. Yeah. It's fascinating to say.
I'm curious. As an American, how much of this do you think is exported to your country from my shitty country? Because I feel like you can look to Canada and you see so many parallels, like the Maple MAGA movement. I feel like anything that happens in America is going to happen in Canada like 6 months in terms of like the political rhetoric. Do you think that there is a bit of an influence from America? Because I don't know. That's always one thing that I'm curious about.
You want to apologize?
I do want to. Like, I just want to know if I have to.
I mean,
apologize.
listen, America certainly plays their role. America certainly plays their role, but these countries also have agency. I mean, let's not give them a pass.
I mean,
that's true.
There is a kind of a nascent movement at the moment for de-Yankification of the UK. Again, it's happened largely by osmosis in some cases because of neoliberalization and globalization, insofar as local businesses getting supplanted by, whether it's, Wingstop or whatever it is, or whatever
McDonald's.
American chain is. Yeah, no, McDonald's has been around for a long time, but it's now become heavily Americanized insofar as outside of like the kebab shops, which are very kind of quintessentially British, fast food restaurants have all been kind of subverted by American chain restaurants. Well, there was a time when Walmart owned our biggest supermarket too, when they were trying to get into our markets as well. But kind of culturally, there's also been American money in our politics as well. The Heritage Foundation have been getting in. Like one of our kind of most notorious far-right MPs called Suella Braverman did a speech for the American Enterprise Institute where she essentially said that multiculturalism was bad and it was terrible we did all this migration. So there has been links between like American far-right money in the UK, but it's actually not had as much traction because no one's buying a bunch of this evangelical shit anyway. Reform UK for a little bit, we're trying to push this bring back Christianity thing, and then they realized there was literally no base for it at all, and they just dropped it after like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's the thing. The lack of a religious right as an organization, as like a political movement, means we're insulated from the worst of it. But there's undoubtedly, like, America basically fucking owns us. We are a franchise. We are a shop that America just sort of pops into once in a while.
We wouldn't know anything about that. So
wow.
That sounds weird.
Yeah, but it's worse from our perspective because I don't even accept American independence as a reality. So it should be the other way around, frankly.
You're a true monarch.
It might be better. I mean, it would be better at this point, probably.
Exactly. Come back into the warm embrace of Mother England. You know you want to.
Listen, I will bow down to the king if I can get some of the nationalized healthcare. I'd be down for that. But it's funny,
don't
all
even
my
have to do that.
life.
No one here bows down to the king. People think there's like a reverence for the royal family. There really isn't. Like, we all know they're just
if that'll
fucking
get me
evil
hard, though.
tyrants.
Then why is he still there? I guess is the question.
The thing is, there was this time
because it's
like
just
under.
easier. It's easier to just go along. I guess I don't know.
I think there was this big kind of
Sounds like an
holding
addict.
period where no one like really liked the royal family outside of really insane cranks, but everyone kind of liked Queen Elizabeth because she'd been there forever. She was this ever-present figure, and then she was when she died, she was replaced by Sausage Fingers
She did seem
and
less
his
pedo-y,
pedo brother,
know?
and the
Yeah.
approval rating just tanked immediately.
Yeah, the queen always reminded me of like a grandma that would give you the like canister of cookies that are stale, but nonetheless very sweet, would offer you hugs. But then the king is just like that guy. I feel like if he could use a computer, I would be afraid of his search history. I just get very bad vibes from the king.
Funny enough, the right hates him.
Yeah,
The right hates him because he's woke. The right hates him because he's woke because he cares about climate change. It's really funny.
But he's really.
I
he's
care.
a
You
real-
didn't believe it's real.
He's
Like,
a fucking
so-
freak. He's a freak. He literally said once that the Enlightenment was the worst scourge upon European history. He's a fuck. He's. This is the problem. Inbreeding doesn't. It either gives you a big jaw or a stupid brain, or both. You know.
So, okay, I've got my perception of UK politics just from the American perspective and my brain rotted position. Most of my life, I always thought, okay, the Tories in the UK are like better than the Democrats just because there's no religious bullshit, none of that angle. And then the Liberals were basically closer to like my ideal party. That has shifted. That was when I was a liberal. Because I remember when I started to really like learn about UK politics, I think it was Gordon Brown who was the prime minister and Obama was still the president. And so I'm like, must be sad to have a complete dipshit as the president as I have Obama. This was like first couple of years. But now it's like, I actually think that Democrats and liberals are almost at parity with each other in terms
Labor?
of shittiness. Yeah, Labor. Yeah.
I think the Democrats are probably to the left of Labour. And they were under Joe Biden. Like you had, big supply side investment in industry. You had protectionist trade policy. You had trans rights was actually something that they protected. You had the expanded child tax credit. Keir Starmer came in, sacked his own MPs for wanting to voting against their keeping of like this insanely cruel cap on how much welfare children could get. He slashed welfare for the disabled. He's taken like drugs away from trans kids, like incredibly important medication from trans kids. Of course, he, just like Biden, he assisted in the genocide, but he's not done any kind of protectionist trade policy. His supply side investment's been significantly lower. So yeah, I would say Joe Biden was reasonably to the left of Keir Starmer.
That's crazy.
Which is absolutely horrifying for a British person to think that either of our parties are to the right of anything in America is horrifying. But a supposedly leftist party being to the right of Joe fucking Biden is just tragic, honestly.
Yeah, I will say that Keir Starmer and really just like everything that's been happening, it really has kind of killed the perception that I've had as the Brits. Just being like more enlightened because like I grew up in fundamentalist like Christianity. So like I've seen the dumbest of the dumb. So it's like I always look to, the UK as this like country that was so much better. Like they have their shit together. And then like everything just kind of hit the fan. But I feel like
we've got great PR. Don't buy into it. It's nonsense. Like, we seemed like we had our shit together. We really didn't.
It's worth telling a story of how Keir Starmer happened, though, right? Like, it didn't just happen by accident that the Labour Party went from an actual, like, democratic socialist party under Jeremy Corbyn, like, significant to the left of most parties in Europe, and then turned into, like, the Tory Party, Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. So the reason why it was a 3-year-long plot in the background, essentially, which started by the Labour Party deliberately leaking these kind of trumped-up charges of anti-Semitism towards Corbyn to the press. These are internal Labour Party figures deliberately trying to lose the election in 2017.
And by the way,
also
to link that into Epstein as well, Peter Mandelson was at the core of this, a man who was so close with Jeffrey Epstein that there are several pictures of him in his underwear in Epstein's house.
It's very true. And so,
Jesus.
and Mandelson's protege is a guy called Morgan McSweeney, who ran a think tank called Labour Together in the background that built themselves as this Labour unity kind of vehicle for policy. And in reality, they were plotting in the background the entire time, polling Labour members, trying to take down Corbyn, deliberately telling Keir Starmer to have specific Brexit policies to make sure that Labour lost the election in 2019. They then essentially decided to create this persona of Keir Starmer as the guy who was going to do Corbynism, but sensibly, but palatably for the electorate, by pitching himself for the leadership of the Labour Party under those kind of premises, like said a bunch of things about left-wing policy, the 2017 manifesto being a foundational document. So got elected off of that kind of prospectus, immediately ditched it, essentially purged members of the party on totally kind of spurious grounds, like they had liked tweets from the Scottish National Party at one point in time. That was one way someone got purged from the Labour Party, because they'd been in part of groups who essentially opposed the anti-Semitism smears, people who had been who had made jokes. Like a Jewish person was expelled for anti-Semitism because she made a joke about the fact that she was Jewish. She's now in the Green Party. And after all these purges, they essentially turned Labour what is what's called Blue Labour, which is essentially the Tory faction of the Labour Party, who believe in social conservatism and basically nothing else, led by a member of the House of Lords called Maurice Glassman. So it essentially was all a hostile takeover, which is you can't undo, because the leader of the Labour Party appoints the people in Labour HQ who get to decide all of this internal party stuff that led to the purges, that led to the policy being going right wing. And so unless Keir Starmer steps down, or the parliamentary Labour Party have a vote of no confidence, which they won't do, as they're all people who are specifically picked by Mandelson and McSweeney to be loyal to Keir Starmer and their faction of the party. They essentially use their power internally to fix all of the candidate selections to ensure unanimity in support of Keir Starmer. It's the most insane kind of... You'd think I was doing an insane conspiracy theory, but it's all true.
Yeah, literally. But I don't want them to fix it now. I think they're beyond the pale at this point. I want to metaphorically burn it all down. The Green Party need to take over. Simple.
It's true. I mean, as Mono Chatters points out, there was literally a briefing to the press from a member of the Labour right, essentially saying, yeah, we're shaking off the fleas. That's how they described their own members, as shaking off the fleas, yeah.
Is there floor crossing in the UK? Like say members want to say there are good members of Labour. I don't know if this is true, but say they want to join the Greens now that they see the Greens doing well, and they're like, I want to be a part of that. Can they decide now that I'm going to be a part of the Green Party?
They can, and that's. But I mean, there's this sort of double-edged sword to it, though, because what we've seen with Nigel Farage's party, the Reform Party, they've accepted a lot of Conservative members of Parliament as Reform members. Now they've crossed the floor, though technically they sit on the same side of the floor, so it's not technically crossing the floor, but you get the idea. They've changed party, and but people hate the Tories. They absolutely despise them to the point where they're now trailing some polls. They're in 4th position nationally. Which
in
is
the by-election they got 1.9%.
Yeah, which is just like that's you're not even a political party at that point. You're a joke candidate.
So, they lose it. What they did, they lost their deposit. So to run for in a C, you have to pay a £500 deposit to the local authority, and if you don't get 5% of the vote, you don't get that money back. And this is the Conservative Party, the most successful political party in human history. No political party has ever won more elections than the British Conservative Party, and they couldn't get 2% of the vote in the last by-election. That's how badly they've done. But Kevin, continue.
Yeah, that the person they've just welcomed in as their number 2 person opened, right? So their entire support has now gone, well, what? You're not against the establishment. You've welcomed the establishment in. You're just the establishment now. So why would you take on the rats from the sinking ship who caused that ship to sink in the first place?
And also, there's another dynamic in the Greens that doesn't work there too, is that the Greens is fully democratic, all candidate selection democratic, all policy is democratic, like the members hold the power constitutionally, and so any defector from Labour to the Greens cannot be guaranteed access to candidate selection at the next election if should they want to do so. There might be a really kind of popular Green candidate in that seat who would want to go for it, and you wouldn't want to take on a member of the party that aided a genocide, that tried to cut welfare for the disabled, that's not Green values. They probably wouldn't be accepted.
Yeah, that person would have to stand up in front of a room of local Green Party members and explain why they voted for cuts to benefits for disabled people, or why they were fine with the healthcare service being sold off to BlackRock, or why they were fine with trans kids being fucked over. And you're just not really going to explain any of that. That's without even getting into the genocide. I didn't even mention the fucking genocide. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
So there's no members within Labour that were voting against those measures. They all voted in unison.
Well, no, the ones that did vote against those things have been purged from the party. That's why there are like, is it 6 MPs that were elected as Labour MPs in 2024 who have been completely expelled from the party, and there are some that are now sitting as technically independents, but they still sit with the Labour MPs because they're being investigated because they dared to, say no to the dear leader.
I think a couple of them got the whip back, but they've also suspended another MP, essentially for just being too outspoken in the media against this insane plan that the Justice Secretary has to cut the public's right to access a jury trial. This is the level of insanity we're getting from this government. They're trying to cut public access to kind of guarantee jury trials for certain cases. And this MP for Hull, called Carl Turner, he's a barrister, and he openly said this is an insane idea. Why are we trying to cut jury trials? So they just said, nope, you're not a Labour MP anymore. We're going to remove you from the Parliamentary Labour Party.
This is the problem I had. There was on the face of it, a very good thing happened at the weekend. Right, there was this massive march in London of like between 300,000 and 500,000 people. Which was anti-fascist and like pro like love and unity. It was a bit lib-coded, but it was fine, right? But they had Labour Party members of Parliament that spoke at the thing, and I think to myself, how can you realistically oppose the far right if you've got members of the party that are currently, like as pointed out, are trying to take away jury trials, are undermining LGBT rights in the worst way we've seen for like 50 years, basically.
Worse than the Tories, significantly worse than the Tories.
Yeah, are taking away immigrants' right to remain, which they were given the right to remain, and that's just going to be stripped from them completely. That are literally doing a thing which was boilerplate far-right ideology 20 years ago, which is paid repatriation. They're going to give £40,000 to migrants to essentially fuck off, is the plan. So you're not really opposing the far right if the far right are amongst you.
I mean, that's the thing, is that they are literally accepting wholesale rhetoric from Reform UK, chasing Reform UK voters, and they're somehow surprised that they're losing huge numbers of voters to their left flank, to the Green Party, and also to the more liberal end. They're losing votes to the Liberal Democrats as well, like people who have more kind of neoliberal economic values, but are very socially progressive. Which there's a pretty big cohort of those in the country at the moment, more kind of middle class, kind of more aspirational types, pro EU lots at the time. They're also moving away from Labour because they're not pro-EU enough as well. So they're losing votes everywhere because they're trying to appease everybody and pleasing nobody. Although like with Iran, like their policy on Iran is essentially to say it's not our war, but America can use our bases, meaning that all of the full-throated pro-Trump people hate him, and all of the normal people who think that engaging in illegal wars is good or bad. Sorry, we think that it's bad.
Do they just think like people are stupid? That they don't.
Yes.
Like that it's like the mid 80s and we don't have the internet, like we could just like see what's going on.
Yeah, basically, yeah, because they were given such an easy ride in the general election and before, because the Tories were so bad, the media basically just went, well, he has the right kind of vibes, we'll let him be. That he could just lie and not give out policy and just go back on everything he'd ever promised before, and the media didn't notice. And then as soon as you get in, you have to actually implement that as policy, and people start to notice.
And that's the thing, is by when Kevin says they essentially let him in on vibes alone, this is not a joke. Like literally, we just had members of the actual press pair saying, "Well, he looks like he's going to be the adults in charge all over again. We want the grown-ups in charge." That was that was their justification for wanting to hand the country over to this man who had very little political experience outside of being like a backbench MP for a little bit and then Brexit secretary. He was like director of public prosecutions at some point too, though he doesn't like to mention it. That's his political experience, and they just like hand the country over to this man because he looks sensible. That was the press's idea of why he was going to be a good Prime Minister. It was a genuinely insane moment in British politics. And when there's a really good point that you raised, David, like, because if they think we don't have the internet, you see a lot of compilations now bring up, because Keir Starmer changed his whole policy perspectives. He's got this list of pledges that he made during the leadership election, all slashed to pieces, all totally broken, U-turned on, going in the complete opposite direction. And you can literally play clips of him extolling one very explicit position in 2020, taking the explicit opposite position in 2025, 2024, 2026. And it's like they think that the entire public is stupid and they don't know that he's just lying to the public. There was a poll that was done by a pollster called Savanta that me and Kev looked at to describe him in one word. The word liar was so big it dwarfed literally every other word that people thought. People know that he's a con man.
Yeah, although of course the C word was also there as well. I just want to point that out.
True.
Has the press like pushed this? I know the British press could be like all over the place, but has anyone like, I don't know, brought these clips up to him, for example, be like, hey, you said this, here's you saying this in 2020, now here's you now. Like, is there any pressure at all on this man for being a lunatic?
Oh yeah, no, there's plenty of pressure on him, but the thing is, he's a robot, right? So he'll just give you the pre-planned answer, which is why, like with No Justice and I have a thing called Keir Starmer Bingo, which we literally play. You can do generate a card, because he's got like a dozen or so different phrases that get. I mean, we presume behind the scenes they've been like polled as to, they do group sessions and all the rest of it, and they come up with these phrases and they just repeat them ad nauseum. So you hear he'll say the same thing over and over and over again, regardless of what he's being asked. Look, it's literally almost as if he's sort of got a hearing problem. It doesn't matter what question you ask him, he'll give you the same answer. He answers the question he wants to have been asked. That's it.
It is worth pointing out, though, that when they do question him, it's only ever from the right, of course. Like, nothing that undermines the leftist positions he held in 2020 that doesn't hold now. They never question him about that, but they question him about, like, whether or not he's being nice enough to pensioners or to millionaire farmers or whatever it is. Like, those are the kind of questions that gets asked. So it's not great in terms of holding him accountable for, like, the actual lies that he told, because it's okay to lie to the left. If he lies to the right, that's an absolute travesty. But if he lies to the left, we're acceptable casualties in media world. We're not real. We're not actually kind of politically relevant. So it's justifiable to lie to us.
He'll never be asked, how are we affording all this war stuff?
Yeah.
Where's the money coming from?
It's the same universally, like whether it's Canada, whether it's the US, it's always how can you possibly afford to pay for healthcare? But war, like, I've got unlimited funds for that.
You want to rebuild schools? That's going to bankrupt the country. How are we going to
you want to educate children?
Literally, it's worth pointing out there's an actual scandal in this country where school roofs were collapsing because they were made with like this kind of air-rated concrete in the 1980s on the assumption that a future government would rebuild them on the understanding that they were only supposed to be around for 20 years or so because it was a temporary stopgap at an economic uncertain time. And no government in the neoliberal era bothered investing because no government anywhere in the neoliberal era bothered investing. And whole schools had to close on the day that the term started because roofs were collapsing. This is the level to which the infrastructure in our country is just totally collapsed.
We are planning to now spend an extra £75 billion a year on the military.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Literally, and it never gets questioned as to where the funding for all this is going to come from. Literally, Keynesianism is the only acceptable kind of Keynesianism.
We're basically a nation of food banks protected by nuclear arms.
I mean, well, we also have an aging population. We're a retirement home, a financial sector, and a military, and nothing else.
Yeah.
There's another point as well. Sorry, that when we're talking about.
Well, does Polanski have a chance of winning right now, though? Because you said he was in second place, so coming up to the next election, is there hope? That's
3 years away, I guess.
Yeah.
What is important is that we don't have a general election until 2029, but what we do have in May of this year is a huge slew of local authority elections, whether they be both kind of local authority in terms of local councils, some mayors are up for election, but also the devolved parliaments in Scotland and Wales are up for election. So the Greens are poised to do well in like city areas in England, Reform are going to do well in rural areas in England, and the nationalist parties in Wales and Scotland are going to be absolutely demolishing Labour. Like Labour have been in the politically kind of ascendant party in Wales for over 100 years. As in, they've held the majority of seats in Welsh Parliament, they've held the majority of Welsh seats in the UK Parliament throughout the entirety of that period, totally unbroken, and it looks like they might even come in fourth in the Welsh devolved election that's coming around.
Well, literally,
next month.
the poll that No Justice sent me yesterday, my own city here in Birmingham has been a Labour stronghold for basically as long as anyone can possibly remember. It's been Labour through and through. And the Green Party currently have 2 councillors out of the 106, I think it is, that are in the city. And they're now looking like the Green Party will probably become the largest party on the council. And that the Green Party will go, the Labour Party will go from 54 seats, which was just about a majority, down to just 11 seats, which would be unprecedented. They haven't got that few seats on council since this city has existed, basically.
Well, the Birmingham, you might as well explain the Birmingham situation because it shows you why Labour are doing so badly nationally as well.
Yeah. So we were promised like a decade of renewal. You know, the Labour came in and their whole thing was change. Literally, their whole pitch was the word change. No actual policy to bring about
Obama.
change. Just the exactly, yeah, hope. Not any actual concrete reality. Just the word hope. That'll do, right?
I mean, it's easy.
Yeah,
we're talking about it.
It works.
The Labour government nationally have been absolutely abysmal. They're literally the most unpopular on record. Literally since polling began, this is the most unpopular government that's ever existed.
Worse than Truss.
And literally worse than Truss, worse than
Rishi
Sunak. Awful stuff.
Damn.
Yeah, and
Lettuce.
remember, she lost to a lettuce.
The lettuce.
Yeah, I was going to say
loser.
that she lost to lettuce. Like,
Yeah, you're literally
Oh, I
less
know that.
popular than a vegetable at this point. Yeah, and then we've got a Labour council locally, and the Labour government and council have now overseen a 15-month-long bin strike in this city, to the point now that we have giant rats that stalk the streets.
Garbage rats.
We are the
Have you
second.
found a rat king yet, or rat queen? You
Well,
know?
honestly, if the rats stand at the local elections, I'm voting rat. 100, because we've given the humans, we've given
they know
these
the people
two-legged-
better.
We've given these
Yeah.
two-legged
These
pricks a
are the
chance.
people.
4 legs good, 2 legs bad. That's it
Oh,
now.
What's
Anyway,
even worse about
but,
all of this
but
is
the-
that
yeah,
the,
the-
Rat
I was
pollution.
just going to say, the second largest city in the country and the largest unitary authority in the whole of Europe now has piles of trash everywhere.
and the thing is that
Yeah.
the industrial dispute, the 15-month-long industrial dispute, is between the Birmingham City Council essentially and Unite the Union, which is the second largest trade union in the UK behind Unison, which is the public sector union. Unite the Union is directly affiliated to the Labour Party. They are an affiliate trade union of the Labour Party, and they're having their strikes broken with like scabs, with like scab Labour, and are having they're having their negotiation like blanked by both the local government and also the Westminster government appointed commissioners to engage in the dispute, like ACAS and stuff like that. They are all breaking the strike and forestalling the negotiations with an affiliated. These people pay money to the Labour Party.
And it gets worse because it's not the union. Like you might think it's the unions are making unreasonable demands. The unions are making no demands. They want the council to honour the contract they signed 3 years ago with them. So it was already agreed. They don't want anything extra. They don't want a penny more than was already agreed. That the council are like, nah, fuck you, you can't have it.
And sorry, how many years has that been going on?
Well, this has been going on now. The strike for 15 months.
15 months. All right.
Wow.
The bins, And also worth pointing out as well, even funnier, the scab bin men also went on strike as well.
They did.
Because of how badly they were treated by the council.
Scabs had a union?
Yeah.
It was only for 2 days.
Scab rights.
They literally had, so they had the official union go on strike, and then they had a scab picket line as well.
Oh my God.
They had ring.
I've never heard of that.
This sounds like a British comedy to me.
Yeah,
Doesn't
that
sound-
sounds British. That's got to be uniquely British.
Literally, I mean,
Eccentric rings of pickets, and I just thought, just keep it going, lads. Let's have it so every single person in the city is employed as a picket. Up the scabs upon scabs upon scabs.
Yeah, just have layers of scabs. And,
Do you cross the
protest.
picket line for scabs who are striking though? What do you do in that situation?
Exactly. I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
I've never heard of that in my life.
I'm a scab for scab.
That's so funny.
This level of farce it really kind of outlines just how badly this government are.
Yeah, like the Labour Party are obviously going to do badly when you've lost 2 sets of binmen. How? How do you do
For not honoring that contract that they had. That's insane.
Yeah, that's insane. That's just petty.
How is that
This is the
legal?
party of organised labour.
Take these people to jail. Like what?
It's the official party of organised labour.
They should be in jail. And as was pointed out, the union literally pays £500,000 a year to the Labour Party so that Labour Party MPs can call for their own workers to break their own strike and cross their own picket line.
They might disaffiliate soon because Zach
I fucking
Polanski's been on the.
hope
Zach Polanski has been on the charm offensive recently. He spoke at the National Education Union conference, and he's in talks, according to reports, with many trade union leaders who are affiliated with Labour, essentially trying to get them to disaffiliate. I mean, he was openly on the record speaking to journalists about this, going, "Yeah, we're trying to screw over the Labour Party by making sure their trade union funding goes away, and it should go away. It's a disgrace."
Yeah, absolutely. It's the worst kind of cockery to pay for the people trying to get people to cross your picket line. You're essentially paying to be in an abusive relationship.
Well, this is the thing is, if we're going to talk about the Labour Party treating unions terribly, first of all, they banned their own MPs from going on picket lines, and second of all, this is news from this very week where the current sitting health secretary, an absolute weasel called Wes Streeting, is blackmailing our doctors to say, if you continue to vote for strike action, we're going to scrap 1,000 training places for consultancy roles. 1,000 essentially to get a better health service and have more higher trained medical professionals to help the public. But they're going to take those away if they ballot for strike action. It's insane.
But the good thing is he will lose his seat at the next election, so that's nice.
It's true, he will. He will lose his seat at the next election. Yeah, he only won his seat by 500 votes at the last one.
True.
Wow.
I have to admit, it makes me feel better hearing you all talk about how shitty things are there. Just
like I said, we've got great PR. People think we've got our shit together. It's not a chance.
Oh, I don't. I haven't done that for a while. Every time I see news coming out of the UK, it's like all of these incredibly racist Tommy Robinson tier, like, you know, people. Like, to be fair, in the West, it's amplified a lot by Elon Musk and those kind of algorithms that are always talking about how, like, you know, the far right have a lot more power in the UK than I think they do, or at least I hope they do, because it does seem sometimes like they're very loud and violent over there.
The thing is that there's not that much support for the far right, but because we work on first past the post, but we have should be proportional levels of voting, Reform UK can end up with an absolute majority in Parliament off of 25% of the vote. It's going to be it could be really insane with a tiny minority of support and ultimate, like, unchecked kind of elective dictatorship levels of power. Because as long as they put their policies, their insane far-right policies in their manifesto, they can force it into law through our second house, the House of Lords, through what's known as the Parliament Act, the Salisbury Convention. If you make a manifesto commitment, the Lords cannot block you from getting the bill have royal assent to become law.
True, but it's still wild that we have a thing called the House of Lords, by the way. Like, it's still mad that we have these, like, 80-year-old lords and stuff.
Bishops. We have bishops in the Lords as well.
We do have bishops, yeah.
But like at 25%, if reform gets like 25%, I know it's first past the post, but even that is enough to form a majority government. Like, they don't have to form a coalition with anybody else. Like 25%, and you get control.
It depends how it works, because there are 650 seats across the whole country, and so you have to win half of those plus one to form some sort of government, or indeed cobble together a coalition of some variety. Or you can actually have a minority government, but that's pretty rare because it's basically unworkable.
Also,
the point being is that if you get 25% across the whole seat, like, for instance, they're probably not going to get many votes in Scotland, for instance. So all of those seats, they'll get very, very tiny numbers of votes, but they'll rack up larger numbers of votes in cities or in rural areas in England, especially. And so they can win enough seats with 25% spread across the whole country because it's localized in those seats.
I see.
And
Reasonably.
on top of that, there are also Irish nationalists who don't take their seats, meaning that reduces the number of seats you need to be able to get a majority. So they could get 320 seats potentially and end up being able to have a majority government, and that could be incredibly easy to do off of 25% of the vote, because the next party down is on like 19 or 20% currently.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they will be able to form a majority on their own.
No, they're gonna screw the pooch because they've become the Tories now. So
yeah, and they've tapped out. Like, there's to a degree, I suppose, with Trump, like, there is a hardcore of people who will support him, but beyond that, there aren't, like, most people wouldn't vote for them. I don't think.
No, I think there's also going to be a big tactical voting kind of apparatus. Even if there was even swing, end up with a majority on polling projections. When it comes to on the actual voting day, a bunch of Labour and Lib Dem voters who live in cities will vote Green tactically. A bunch of Green voters will vote Liberal Democrat in, like, rural southwest where the Lib Dems are strong. Like, obviously in Scotland and Wales, people will vote SNP or Plaid Cymru.
It doesn't really concern me because I don't live in the area where this would matter. But if I were in a seat where I had to vote Labour to stop reform, is it worth it?
No, well,
Given
we
how
saw at the
shit
last
Labour
election,
are.
right? Yeah, like we saw at the last election that if you guarantee your vote to the Labour Party, they will essentially not bother trying to court you anymore. Like this is why they moved
Yeah.
rightwards. So many liberals gave Starmer their vote in 2024, even though he was incredibly right wing, on the assumption, well, he can't be worse than the Tories, surely. And well, he goes, well, sure, I'm not going to bother trying to appeal to your vote. I'm just going to go after reformers that we feel like are the missing part of the electorate, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy
yeah,
that
like-
Labor is fucking up so bad. I mean, for them to move to the right of reform, even on like the online safety act, like the porn ban, like
Yeah.
isn't that like one of those issues, if I'm understanding correctly, that like reform has been able to kind of like capitalize on just because it's so unpopular and they look like they're pro freedom since reform ended up pissing off a bunch of people. It's so outrageous that all of these neoliberal parties around the world are doing the same thing and getting the same result, fascism.
I think what's funny as well is that some of the policies that Labour are doing are so unpopular. The jury trials is one, but they also tried to do mandatory ID cards that literally every single other mainstream party opposed them. Like there was when they talked about like the abandonment of jury trials, the Tories, Reform, Greens, Lib Dems, and the Scottish and Welsh nationalist parties all put out statements opposing the government. That's how unpopular the shit they're trying to do is.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's like
Keir Starmer is so personally unpopular because when they tried to introduce mandatory ID cards, when asked generically whether they supported the plan, people were kind of like 50-50. It was sort of on in the balance. And then once he personally came out and actually announced the policy, support for it cratered. It went down to like 15%. Like no one wanted it.
Yeah, it's
like
very
he
crazy.
literally could offer us a cure for cancer, and people were like, "I'm not touching your cure for cancer, you weird bastard."
That is basically the point we're in. I mean, Labour is so unpopular currently. Some polling projections have them losing 400 seats the next election.
Holy shit!
Wow.
I will say, go ahead, David.
I was just going to say, considering the election was, you said 3 years away, is it possible they can do something to save themselves at this point, or is it just like, are you just like waiting out like the end of this until finally you get to vote?
So they have to get rid of Keir Starmer. They have to get rid of Keir Starmer and move to the left, basically, if they want to salvage their own position as a political party. But the big issue is that they probably would have been able to do so if they'd have scrapped him after May, gotten like Angela Rayner, who's one of the soft left, who's kind of vying for the leadership now. If they got her involved, maybe they would scrape together enough people to not like get wiped out as a political party. But lots of these things are contingent upon economic tailwinds, right? Like they were on before the Iran war happened. They were on like the other end of the business cycle. We were coming out of the pandemic. Wages were higher than inflation consistently for a long time. Consumer sentiment was going up. If they'd have just not done stupid shit and dumb laws that everyone hated and putting their foot in it and just allowed the business cycle to carry them back towards like better standards of living, they probably would have been able to win over voters again. But the Iran war's happened now. So not only does that mean that Keir Starmer's more likely to stay on because the Labour apparatchiks will go, you can't resign, we've built up international relationships. This will be terrible for geopolitics, even though most people on the ground don't care. But also it means that any economic gains they might have had from the other end of the business cycle, that's all gone because now the cost of living crisis has come back with a vengeance, like to the nth degree of what we had during the Ukraine war.
It was funny though to see Trump be like, he's not Winston Churchill. He's not Winston Churchill. And I'm like, yeah, he wasn't Winston Churchill because he intervened to overthrow a democratically elected leader in Iran. So he's actually, ironically, in this one way, a lot better than Winston Churchill.
True. I forgot like Churchill did Operation Ajax.
He did indeed, yeah. It's unlike Britain to fuck around with other people's countries. I know, it's crazy.
Not the Middle East, Kevin. Surely not.
I was going to say that the one thing that I will say about Keir Starmer, if I'm going to say anything positive, is that he did give us this moment that I quote all the time.
God, yes.
I quote this so frequently.
I've got this on my soundboard.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm not sure I know what this is.
Oh, it's you've heard it, David, for sure. I'm going to play it. It's just 6 seconds.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, for hostility.
I forgot about that.
I love that quote.
So remember when we mentioned how Keir Starmer has these kind of set phrases that he repeats during the election campaign, basically because he wanted to, because he was like, he's literally a knight of the realm and former like top cop director of public prosecutions. He wanted to market himself as this normal working class person, right? So he kept going with this line that his dad was a tool maker. It was the weirdest fucking thing, right? But literally, obviously his dad made a massive tool in the form of Keir Starmer, of course, he's not wrong. But what was funny was that it became, he repeated it so much during the election campaign. He was asked a question by somebody in the audience and he repeated the line and everyone laughed at him. And he got like offended, going, "But what's so offensive about my dad being a toolmaker? What's so funny?" And I'm like, "No, you just keep fucking repeating it. And it sounds insane."
He literally thought they were being like classist and like laughing at his dad having a normal job, and they weren't. They were laughing because you've said it a billion fucking times. It's embarrassing.
And no one believes. And again, like no one believes that just because your dad did a thing that makes your class like dynamic any different from the man who's had a luxury career where he literally had his own personal chauffeur paid for by the state. It cost like £300,000. There is Keir Starmer has a pension law written into statute with his name written on it. The Keir Starmer pension law exists. That's how much this man's been integrated into kind of the state ever since he was the director of public prosecutions, the head of the Crown Prosecution Service. Right? He was a member of the Trilateral Commission. That does not a working class politician make, unfortunately.
True.
Yeah.
But it also, I mean, but people just saw through the fact that basically all his politics is artifice. None of it's kind of sincere or real. It's all just projection of what he thinks people want to hear.
And he's very much in the pocket of Zionism as well, of course. Tell the story of him when he was the leader of the opposition. He struck down the Scottish National Party. Now, when I say national, in Britain, the Welsh and Scots nationals are left-wing. It sounds weird to people, but that's just the way
they're civic nationalists rather than nationalists, right?
Yeah. Exactly. They just don't like. It's sort of the difference between like ethnic nationalism and liberation nationalism. They don't want Westminster like stamping on them. Anyway,
it's a rational national version of nationalism.
Exactly. Anyway, they had a motion condemning Israel for its genocide of Palestine, or the Palestinian people, and literally Israel. The Prime Minister of Israel rang up Keir Starmer an hour before he then squashed the motion from the SNP. So literally the president of Israel rang him up in order to affect the ongoings in the British Parliament. So
it's
and then
crazy.
He
it's crazy
become
stuff.
Prime Minister. So like it's literally we're taking orders from Tel Aviv now.
I think it's worth pointing out as well that the SNP motion happened during like a Westminster convention called Opposition Day, where members of the opposition take it turns over the course of the Parliament to be able to propose their own motions that aren't government motions on this very specific day. And it's tradition and it's kind of Westminster protocol that the government of the day doesn't propose amendments because that therefore makes it a government bill if those amendments pass, right? And deliberately to try and tank the bill to ensure that Labour MPs could vote for it and it not be a proper ceasefire motion. The Labour Party broke all convention to be able to do it by tabling this amendment that would essentially nullify it and make it totally fucking meaningless.
But I'm sure it's absolutely fine that the president of Israel rang him just before.
Yeah, and also also the Speaker of Parliament, a guy called Lindsay Hoyle, has gone on multiple page trips to Israel. Along with genocidal ambassador Zippy Hotovely, and his dad, right, was he the founder of Labour Friends of Israel?
He was one of the 4 founders originally of the Labour Friends of Israel. Yes. So, like, in case you were wondering how bought we are by Zionism, they've done a number on us, frankly. Yeah.
And also, the former chair of Labour Friends of Israel is the current spokesperson for Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, literally true. Yeah.
A guy called David Mentzer.
Yep.
Yeah, like I wish that was surprising, but I mean, I've heard similar. Like the U.S. is the same, so it's like it's not all that shocking to hear.
No,
that.
but it's no. It's not AIPAC money anyway. It's J Street now, and that's totally different and fine.
Yeah, we have CIJA here. It's not AIPAC. It's CIJA. It's different.
I'll raise you one though. Does your president have potential videos that Israel has on him of that are blackmail material where he was?
Yes.
Okay.
It's so blackmail, yeah.
A little side
Who
story.
knows?
It's a thing that I've tried to keep alive as a story. There was a terrorist attack against him Ukrainians, young male Ukrainians, firebombed the Prime Minister's house. That got mentioned like once in the press, and then they went completely quiet. There are allegations that have gone about that he is interested in young male sex workers. And that's fine in its own way.
No shit.
That's fine in its own way. But all I'll say is, if young male Ukrainians who have been involved in sex work firebomb the Prime Minister's house, I'd like to know the details of why that took place and why nobody wants to report on it.
That seems like a big story that I didn't even hear that.
I've never heard of this at all.
No that seems like a massive
How is that
thing.
not escape containment? Sorry, he's accused of having young male sex workers, a Ukrainian. What?
Well, no, the only thing we know is that these people are accused of firebombing multiple properties. Like, it's not just one; there are multiple different properties that have Keir Starmer's name on the deeds that have been attacked, purportedly or accusedly of these people. They've not been convicted of anything yet, right? Like, obviously, but again, this was mentioned like a couple of times by the press and then just disappeared from the news cycle. This is the Prime Minister like being targeted with firebombs.
Yeah,
you know what's crazy? My gator never went off for him.
Yeah, no, you will.
I'm gonna look this up.
Oh well.
Wow.
Maybe it's different for
Hey,
for the
Ariana.
Brits.
Woo.
Yeah, British people, they can escape my gay detector. It's only it's very American Canadian centric, I think, because I did not spot him.
As a culture, we're just very gay anyway, so he just blends in. Really.
True, but there was also a rumor that Keir Starmer had an affair with a member of the House of Lords, but it was just a rumor.
What was it? A woman?
They're not underage. They're 26, 34, and 21 respectively. Aspiring Ukrainian models. Wow.
See, Lance, Detective Lance is on the story.
It's given Randy McNally.
Well, more than anything, I'm shocked this hasn't broken containment. Like, I'm just shocked more.
Right.
That should be a massive story.
Yeah, all Ukrainians, all models, multiple firebomb attacks. I'm sorry, like I refuse to believe that there's nothing there.
Yeah, there's something going on there. I don't know what it is, but
it's only in like the Daily Mail and other kind of like shitty tabloids. I'm not seeing it in like the BBC.
No, the BBC did report on it, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's one of those stories. It was reported on initially, and then it just went completely silent. Which you think that's when someone tries to like kill the Prime Minister, that should be a story, I think.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, yeah, they probably do have lots of compromise.
Okay.
I imagine.
All right. Yeah. All right, UK. You know what? I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'll tell you what's also funny about Keir Starmer. You know how I mentioned how Keir Starmer is like an empty vessel? Me and Kev read this hilarious article on stream, which was by a journalist called Tim Shipman. It was basically all quotes that he got from internal members of the Labour Party, and they essentially described Keir Starmer as being like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Simpsons movie. I was elected to lead and not to read, i.e., this is the direct quote was, he thinks his job is to sit in a room and be serious and just be given proposals and then say yes or no, right? So just sees the Starmer's thumb point up or down. They said he doesn't read, he has no hinterland, he's not interested in policy or politics. These are all direct quotes from like internal members of the Labour Party. One person described him as like
a great person to have at the helm during these difficult times.
It's great. So also people from his own faction said like, Keir thinks he's driving the train, but we've sat him at the front of the Docklands Light Railway, which is a driverless train, right? One of the left-winger members of the Corbyn faction described him as like one of those cars you get outside supermarkets where you put like $1 in and then it just kind of goes backwards and forwards and the kid turns the handle thinking that they're driving a car. Like that. It's funny because again, he's not actually. It's true. He's not in control. This guy called Morgan McSweeney, that you mentioned before, this protege of Peter Mandelson, he's the one who's actually was in control of the government until he had to resign because of the Mandelson links with Epstein. Which brings us on to the next funny thing that's happened to the Labour Party. The opposition passed what's known as a humble address, which is essentially a motion that's passed in Parliament to request that the King forces the government to do something that they don't want to do, and was to release to the public.
Because we're a serious modern country where you do that sort of thing to a king.
Yeah, we're a Renaissance festival, not a real country. So they're forced now to release their WhatsApp messages between members of the cabinet and Peter Mandelson to know what links there were at the time of his appointment and what the relationship with Epstein and shit like that, to know how he became ambassador in the first place, rather than Bear Grylls, apparently. And so that's going to be very embarrassing for the government.
Isn't a joke, by the way. Bear Grylls was literally seriously considered to be the
Oh, I thought you were. I straight up thought you were joking.
Bear Grylls,
Bear Grylls drinking his own piss. Bear Grylls.
Oh,
yes.
Yes, the piss drinker.
He was on the shortlist for being the US ambassador. That's how serious this government is. But yeah, so they're going to have loads of embarrassing messages between the cabinet and Peter Mandelson. All of it's going to be public. It's going to be all viewable for the public, as long as it's not like national security sensitive. But mysteriously, Morgan McSweeney, protege of Mandelson, the man who introduced Mandelson to Keir Starmer apparently, and had Mandelson personally vet candidates to stand at the last election for the Labour Party, his phone mysteriously got stolen a month after the Epstein files got unearthed. All the WhatsApp messages just gone.
Is like the government equivalent of the dog ate up my homework. Guys, like, we're supposed to believe this. The contempt they have for the British public is amazing.
Oh my god,
it's true. Yeah, because we've already had some like Wes Streeting's messages with Mandelson. He made them public openly, and it's essentially Wes Streeting going, "Yeah, Israel's doing genocide. Why aren't we pushing back?" At the time when publicly he was saying that they supported Israel at the time. So like he knew genocide was happening and didn't push back.
They all know secretly. They're all going like, "Oh fuck, how can we cover our own ass on this one?" Like, cause what about if the ICC come after us? Type deal. Because they all know what they're fucking doing, but they're all disgusting, self-obsessed, careerist bastards. All of them.
And none of them have any experience in any of their roles in government. They're all just lobbyists and special advisors and people who are hangers-on of political parties, or lobbyists, right? We've had more lobbyists in the Labour Party than we've ever had, including lobbyists for the privatised water sector, which is the thing that we have in this country. We have privatised water. That's how dumb this country is, anyway. More privatised than Chile under Pinochet. That's how dumb it is that we have privatised water. These private water companies are literally filling our rivers and lakes with actual shit. Actual human shit is being pumped into rivers and lakes by these private water companies. And a lobbyist for one of the worst polluters, Yorkshire Water, is sitting as a Labour MP for Ossett and Denby Dale. She's called Jade Botterill. We literally have lobbyists for private water companies, shit-pumping private water companies as Labour members of Parliament. It's a disgrace. It's a fucking disgrace.
It's crazy to have public health care and private water. Like, what country is that?
we have a privatized postal service. We have what other dumb shit? What other dumb shit do we privatize? Well, we privatize our oil reserves. We have literally got black gold off the North Sea, which is the same North Sea that Norway drill in.
We've privatized school buildings in the academy system as well. So we basically,
that's true.
We're basically for a £1 million investment, a company could go in, but essentially buy a school, dictate much of what goes on at the school, and then the government have to rent the buildings back exorbitant rates from the private company.
Yeah, and also we allowed private companies to own bits and pieces of schools to do repair work. This thing called private finance initiatives, which is a brainchild of the Labour Party. This was originally done by Tony Blair and was cancelled by the Tories for being bad value for public money, and then reinvigorated by the new Labour government. So they'll get the BlackRock are getting private finance initiatives in the NHS to own NHS GP surgeries.
My favourite nonsense in all of it was the privatised railway system was partly purchased by the national railways of France and Belgium, meaning that the British government were investing huge amounts of money in keeping these private enterprises going, essentially subsidising the public fucking railway system of Belgium and France.
Our oil wells, right, are being drilled so that we just opened a new one called I forgot what the name of the oil kind of deposit was in the North Sea, which is we sold it in a 70% stake to the Norwegian state-owned fucking oil company Equinor. So our oil in our territorial waters is being used to fund the $1 trillion sovereign wealth fund that funds Norwegian pensioners. This is how dumb all of this is.
So are Greens calling for public ownership? Take all this shit back?
Yeah.
That's good.
Cool.
Yeah, which it has to happen, because even with like they partly renationalised part of the railway recently, because essentially it can't run as a private concern. It's not profitable to do so. It's a public service that needs to exist, but you can't actually make money out of it. Literally, for the amount of money the public have invested into the privatised system at the end of the national rail era, which was 94, was it, when they privatised it? They could have relayed every inch of track in the country twice over.
Also,
and they haven't relayed any.
Things they privatized the actual maintenance sector, the people who manage the rails themselves, rather than the franchises and the train operating companies who run the actual train companies. When they originally privatized it, they created a private company called Railtrack. And they saw so many train crashes in the very, very short time that they were privatized. The government was forced to essentially buy it back at a loss, like 3 years after privatization. Like we were given like a crash course in why privatization sucks immediately after it happened, and then we just didn't learn.
True.
Wow. Although, to be fair, the train operating companies are coming back into public ownership by the Labour Party, but they're not buying them back because they're franchise agreements. So what they're doing is they're letting the franchise agreements run out until the end of their specified time, and then they're just going to like default back into public ownership. But the trains will still be privately owned because they're owned by foreign rolling stock companies owned by private equity. So it's still going to be a mess, but less of a mess than it was.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I honestly, so at the start of the show, I was like, I would still happily trade places with you, but now I'm not so sure.
That's why I looked askance at you when you said that, because I was like, I'm not sure you would. I'm really not sure.
One thing we don't have is fascist paramilitaries murdering members of the public. So
yes,
that's fair.
Yes.
That's fair.
That's true.
Yeah.
I believe us. We can do that.
The Starmer haven't been forced upon us just yet.
That's fair.
But what I will say though is that we do have like incredibly restrictive protest laws now under the Labour government. Like they prescribed a bunch of people who are protesting against the genocide in Gaza.
Yeah.
They prescribed them as terrorists, literally on the same level as Al Qaeda and Boko Haram for spray painting the engines of 2 planes.
No, not on the same level as Al Qaeda, because who was the noted guest, the foreign guest that we had in London yesterday, was the formerly Al Qaeda and ISIS aligned fucking leader of Syria. Yeah. That guy was being welcomed in and shaking hands with Prime Minister, who's literally locked up people for daring to say genocide bad.
Yep, we literally had like there was footage of little old ladies holding signs saying "I oppose genocide" being bundled off into police cars and convicted of terror offences. And that's the Labour government that did that.
As well. Thousands of people getting arrested for that, like which is just wild for signs.
True.
Yep, we live in like a topsy-turvy world, and again, this is we think it's worth pointing out. Me and Kevin and all of our lefty pals, we warned people they were going to be like this, and no one fucking listened.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think this is true in America and Canada as well. Being left-wing basically means being right years before liberals realise right, and then they never do anything, rinse and repeat.
It's incredibly fucking frustrating, I have to tell you. It's just like, I saw all of this coming, whether it's my provincial government here in Ontario, whether it's obviously, Trump, like all of this is seen well ahead of time.
Yeah. I mean, things are just terrible. He even did incredibly dumb shit. So our current Justice Secretary used to be Foreign Secretary, a man called David Lammy. At one point, he praised the Azerbaijan government for its ethnic cleansing of the Nagorno-Karabakh. Yep, that's
which is
like happened.
That's like specialist genocide support.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
It's super. Like the level to which this government have been an absolute. They've been like demonically evil. It's just beyond the pale. It's so. I'm trying to think of like the other awful things they've done because there've been so many.
Well, we haven't even talked about the corruption. They're accepting gifts.
Oh shit!
Tickets to the football, soccer for the Americans. Free tickets to the football, free glasses and dresses for the Prime Minister's wife, in order for a guy called Lord Ali, who paid for all that, to get private entrance into number 10 Downing Street during the formation of the government. He didn't need to be there. Just corrupt as fuck.
The same Lord Ali who Peter Mandelson was alongside whilst they were planning the 1997 UK election as well. That's how far these ties go back. Yeah. They had £700,000 of donations illegally unreported during the Labour leadership campaign. In the run-up to the election, they had a £4 million donation from a Cayman Islands-based hedge fund that was donated at the last possible moment to be not reported until after the election. They have like investments in like arms companies and Quadriga. So they've essentially become just another corporate party, and this is why, again, we've already had one trade union disaffiliate, the Bakers Union, and plenty more.
They had the Labour Together people. One of the ministers had to step down from the government on the basis that they had ordered investigations into journalists who were trying to find out where the source of finance coming for the group was. So literally, the government trying to using public funds to try and investigate journalists.
Yep, that happened. There was other Labour Together stuff too, wasn't there? One of a government minister had to resign because she was convicted in absentia of corruption in Bangladesh, which is quite funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Tulip Siddiq, that happened.
We had the homeless minister who had to resign for making a family homeless because they kicked them out of the home they were renting to them, and then whacked up the price and rented it to somebody else. Which does make you think, when they accepted that role as homelessness minister, were they told it was an anti-homeless thing, not a pro-homeless?
That's so ridiculous.
I don't know.
That's as hilarious as the scabs going on strike. Like,
We are.
That's wild.
That government is essentially a Monty Python skit. Wow. That's what it is at this point. It's nonsense. Yeah.
Now, there's been a bunch of other people who've had to leave government. An MP was removed from Parliament for a Labour MP was removed from Parliament for punching a guy in the street.
Literally,
he punched a guy called Mike Amesbury was caught on camera punching a guy fucking square in the face on the street.
And that was one of his constituents who was just asking him what the fuck he was doing. He just punched him in the face.
That's like American redneck behavior.
Literally, there was and the MP who stood down to allow the Gorton and Denton by-election had to resign because in private WhatsApp messages with his Labour group in the constituency, he was openly saying that he hoped his own constituents would die.
Again, not for anything bad. The guy had contacted him asking him what they were going to do about the bins in the local area. And he literally emailed one of his friends saying, I hope this fucker dies.
Yeah, and he resigned on mental health grounds, of course, you know. But thankfully, and again, to talk about how bad it's been for the Labour Party space, like Gorton and Denton, the constituency the Greens won, had been Labour since the 1910s, I think it was. Or 1920s?
1930, I think, was the official thing. But the boundaries have changed slightly. But yeah, essentially, there have been seats that they've held for forever and ever that they're going to lose. Yeah, it's because they're hated by everybody, including again, the thing about shaking off the fleas. When you describe members of your own party as fleas, those are people who pay to be a part of your party. What do you think the general public are going to think of you? You know?
Yep, it's.
Well, there's nowhere to go but up from here, I guess.
I mean, I'm just glad that we have an alternative.
Like,
if the Democrats were doing this shit, there would be no alternative in the United States, and we'd be totally fucked.
Well,
so at least have open primaries.
I like to think that we're a nice little fill-up for American leftists. Just like, it's not so bad because everywhere else is shit too, you know? Don't feel so bad about it. It's, you know.
It does feel like the world's ending sometimes. Like, it's just how no one's doing well. Like, it's just we're all just in this shit, and ultimately it comes down to capitalism and how it's just taking hold of everybody's fucking life.
I mean, despite the fact that, Carney is a massive neoliberal, at the very least he's not scared of China and he's willing to be happy to be linked with China.
Yeah, no,
I'm desperate I'm desperate for cheap solar panels and cheap electric vehicles. Please, China.
Carney is terrible. It's we've got the same problem that you have. We have very good PR. People think he's great. He did more cuts to the public sector than any other prime minister in my lifetime, including conservative ones.
Yeah, like I'm not going to defend Carney, but I'm not. But hearing Keir Starmer, it's not. I don't think it's close. Like
it's not. Yes, true. It's just.
I think there's a big difference, quite honestly. But it could obviously be a lot better than what it is.
I'll tell you what, Kevin. Should we talk about your party?
My party.
The worst named party in history. Yeah,
it's a really stupid one. Yeah, Jeremy Corbyn set up his own party called Your Party, and it's been an absolute shit show from start to finish. It's been really embarrassing and deeply saddening, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The Zara Sultana, again, former Labour MP who voted against the keeping the 2-child benefit cap thing, which was just evil and monstrous. She was kicked out of the party, obviously. So her and Corbyn are kind of the two big beasts of Your Party, which was only meant to be a holding name, but then when they actually voted, they voted to call it Your Party, which means when you talk about it being your party, it's really confusing because people think my party, I'm not in a party. Anyway, they set up a really silly false gateway, so they had people join the party and give money to an organisation that wasn't officially affiliated to the party, which might have been slightly illegal and wiretappy. Money wire fraud type thing, which is a bit much. You had them trying to allow these socially conservative MPs who were like elected as pro-Palestine people, but they're quite socially conservative guys.
Not even economically. Things are not even economically left wing either. They're basically transphobic, right?
Yeah, and Jeremy Corbyn welcomed them in, and then they were making these weird arguments about how, oh, well, we need to be open to having socially conservative Muslims. And you're like, well, no, the socially conservative Muslims can join the fucking Conservative Party or the Reform Party. Like those parties already exist.
Oh, no, these also these people were landlords as well. But these like right wingers were also like landlords too, trying to be in a socialist party. It was really weird.
Oh my god.
It's been a whole ass mess. It's been quite funny to watch though.
Does this still exist, or is it just like polling at 1% or something?
It technically exists, but it's polling so pathetically that it's basically a non-entity, and it's going to fizzle out. And essentially, it's I mean, to mention Monty Python again, it's very People's Front of Judea versus the Judean People's Front. It's two factions going to war with one another, and no one benefits from it at all. I tell you who does benefit though. The Green Party have benefited massively because that is true.
All of the kind of the infighty. Again, Judean People's Front types, they've all just joined your party and they're having their own like kind of squabbles for power. Like people from the Socialist Workers' Party got kicked out and then invited back in. It's been a whole ass mess, which means the Green Party have been able to focus on, doing opposition, right?
Yeah.
Is Jeremy Corbyn even like considering joining the Green Party? That would just make the most sense.
No, I don't think so. And also, he's such tainted goods in some respects that essentially. And like he's a really old man. He's not going to be around much longer anyway.
That's
so
fair.
There's no real use. Like he's far more baggage than any good it would do allowing him into the party. And I don't think he wants to anyway, because he's like more kind of old school trade union focused Labour rather than a Green Party, which is a much more modern, forward thinking thing. And you can tell that because like literally the whole thing was having slates of candidates and doing a motion and this and that. And it's just old like smoke-filled room 1970s fucking trade union politics, and it doesn't really work in the modern world.
I looked up Jeremy Corbyn's age just because I wasn't sure. I mean, he's obviously old at 76, but I don't think he's probably not going to be around for a long time old. I mean, obviously
that would be a young U.S. senator, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, by American standards, he's a young
83 or 84 or something, right? He's in his 80s.
As a member of parliament, there aren't many that are older than him, I don't think. Is what I mean.
Okay.
I don't mean also I'm not writing an obituary for him anytime soon. I didn't mean that.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah, like he's old. On death's door old.
As a political force, he's not going to be around in like 10 years, is what I'm saying.
I don't think he'll run again.
Bernie's already hitting close to that 10-year mark for.
But come the nuclear war, it's going to be like the world will be over. There'll just be the cockroaches and Bernie still going on about the 1%. Look, that motherfucker is invincible.
He will be here forever.
Not die.
Yeah, he'll be here forever.
But, speaking of the pro-Gaza independents, there's a little funny little tidbit that maybe you don't know. But one of the pro-Gaza independents is a guy called Shocker Adam, and he won in a seat called Leicester South. And the person that he beat is a guy called Jonathan Ashworth. Do you know he went over and campaigned for Kamala Harris? So we like to pretend that he lost Kamala Harris the election.
He literally did, so he was boasting about that until she lost, and then all of a sudden he stopped talking about it.
I wonder why.
It was quite funny because he was in one of the safest Labour seats in the country in Leicester South, like a giant majority, and lost it to the shock of basically the whole country. He was slated to be the he was supposed to be like a DWP, wasn't he, Kev? Like
Department of Work and Pensions. But like this is the thing. It's obviously not just an ethnic or religious matter, but like he's in a city with a lot of Muslim people that live there, and I know that as well. Birmingham's got like 25% Muslim, something like that. If you in a city where you've got a lot of people who are Muslim or people of an ethnic minority background, and you then support A, racist immigration policy, and B, openly endorse the genocide of the Palestinian people, you can't be that surprised if you lose. People don't like. There are things people can overlook as a politician, like votes on transport policy or some shit like that. But like genocide is kind of a difficult one to get past, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
So
yeah,
people
yeah,
just won't do it, you know.
And again, broadly, like they were continually focusing on swing voters, which is exactly the same strategy. Whether they told Kamala Harris, like lots of people think that the advice that people like Ashworth and McSweeney gave to the Harris campaign is why they ended up campaigning with people like Liz Cheney. This was the kind of like hyper focusing on swing voter appeal.
That was still fascinating to me. The fact that she went out there like, who the fuck did she think that was appealing to?
Yeah.
Like even
whatever
Republicans,
advice.
Yeah, like,
Republicans
don't-
didn't like her. Like,
Yeah.
why the fuck would you go out and stand there with this person that no one likes?
But it's the same with
It's
like
like a
Anna
brain
Soubry and
disease that
shit
these
campaigned for Keir
neoliberals
Starmer.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, like multiple Tories went and campaigned for the Labour Party at the last election. Loads of 3 Tories defected to Labour before the 2024 election, right? Including an incredibly right-wing one as well.
Yeah. Who's still there?
Wow.
No, she
Still there, of course.
she quit. She's replaced by Mike Tapp.
Oh,
who's arguably even worse.
the Dover, Elphick, yeah.
Natalie Elphick, yeah, but she
who of
replaced
course
by
took
Mike
over
Tapp.
from her husband, who was accused of sexual assault.
Oh
Who
my
she defended?
God.
No, who was convicted of sexual assault. Who she
Oh,
defended?
was he convicted in the end? Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Jesus. I hate
Again,
this about these
layers.
This is the
conservatives.
thing.
They're just watering down these liberal parties and making them even
Yeah.
fucking shittier than they already are.
Yeah, the thing with Christy Noem's husband and the bimbofication, like the surprising thing for me, because I assume all right wingers are into like weird shit. The surprising
yeah.
thing for me was that was legal and consensual. That was the shock.
Right. Right. Somebody said that on Twitter too. That was like, I'm just shocked that like this didn't involve like children. Like he's paying consenting adults to put on titties, and which is absolutely shocking.
Yeah. Honestly, is that what a rhino is? Someone who like does weird sex stuff, but it's legal and consenting.
I think these days, yes, that would be that'd be the criteria for rhino. It's crazy because that story, it was one of those things that was so surreal, even in 2026 America. And it almost had me feeling bad for him. But then it's like, wait, no. You can't feel bad for him because this is a Trump supporting Republican who's married to Hitler too. But like,
exactly, you got to remind yourself, right?
Yeah.
That whenever you feel bad for one of these people, that's a sign that you're a better person than they are, because they would never feel bad for you in that situation if you were reversed.
That's fair.
And
yeah.
secondly, they're not really human, so you don't need to give them human rights.
That's true. That's true.
So true.
Yeah. Because like at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? If you want to go ahead and put on balloon titties and jerk off to sex workers, go off. You do your thing. Good for you. But it's just a matter of like, it's the hypocrisy. That's like my main issue is these people are the biggest Puritans in the world. They will, like Christy Noem signed a law banning gender affirming healthcare for trans youth. So like they've done real harm, and obviously he supports that as well. That's his wife. He's a Trump supporter himself. And so like for them to have, like, as you were saying, Kevin, like my assumption is that like every single one of them has something that is a very unorthodox kink, like not to kink shame, because I memed a little bit too close to the sun when I talked about this and people accused me of homophobia and transphobia a little bit. So I apologize. But like, you just have to assume that Republicans are the kinkiest people in the world. Like things you couldn't even think of, the most obscure things.
They're into
Tories
some
are too
freaky
here.
shit, yeah. Oh yeah,
Like we had a prime minister who wore a day collar. Like,
well, literally, and of course, we had a Conservative Party councillor in Wolverhampton who was found asphyxiated, naked with an erection in a crack den. Dead.
that happened to. I mean, that similar thing happened to a Tory MP in the 90s.
Yeah, he was dead. He died.
Oh, he was dead. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Wow.
also a a Tory MP asphyxie-wanked himself to death in the 90s too. But also there was a story that he died in Parliament.
He was found in suspenders, right, and like lingerie with an amyl nitrate laced orange in his mouth, tied up, masturbating.
My word.
That was a hell of a way to
That
go.
was like a big thing back in like the late 90s, wasn't it? Like I remember there being
And that
like
was at the
several
time,
stories like
that
that.
was at the time when John Major was Prime Minister, doing a back to basics like Christian fucking virtue thing, whilst also having sex with one of his also married ministers, Edwina Curry. They were both married.
Like basically the Tories had fucked up the economy in 1992 on Black Wednesday, and so they couldn't run on the economy anymore, so just ran on culture war shit, and obviously got fucking stomped by Tony Blair in 97. And they essentially do what all Tories do. When they can't run on the economy, they try and say the moral fibre of the country is broken down because of acid house or whatever, and then it turns out they're all fucking each other. Like, apparently Liz Truss had an affair with her Chancellor of the Exchequer as well, Kwasi Kwarteng.
That is apparently true, yeah. Which
it's just the politicians, like, you have to be a demon to be a politician. I feel like that's the only kind of people who want power, which is why it's so rare to see like good leftists, because like they don't want the power. I don't know.
I think I've had this theory. It's either political leaders or like billionaires and stuff. There's something genuinely psychotic about wanting to exploit people to that extent. Like, I can understand wanting to become rich, like, and rich enough that you never have to work again. That I get that as an impulse. But to want to become Elon Musk, you have to be the most sociopathic bastard ever.
Yes.
Like, there's no why would you ever need hundreds of billions of dollars? Like, it's just gross, you know?
It's
that's true.
truly demented.
Someone in chat is pointing out a Tory MP also left the Commons. They stood down as an MP because they were caught watching porn in the House of Commons.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, apparently that was the first time that's happened too. It's just like, once again, another person has been caught watching porn whilst in session. I was like, wait, in session?
They couldn't just wait till they got home? Like,
but wait, it was just like regular adult porn though?
But yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I mean, you know.
But
there's nothing normal about the straights, Mike. Okay, we got to be honest here. She is fucking absolutely.
The way he tried to absolve himself of this. He tried to absolve himself of this by saying, "I was trying to look at pictures of tractors and accidentally clicked on porn."
You do.
Trying to look at pictures of tractors.
How did you get from tractors to
that's the line that he went with. His line was, I was trying to look at pictures of tractors and accidentally porn just happens to appear.
What's this say? Heavy load, big capacity. Well,
maybe he accidentally was trying to type corn.
People did like mock-ups of like Corn Hub or whatever when he stood down. It was very, very funny.
Oh my god,
Kowalski, if you're in the chat, can you let me know how common it is to look up tractors on the internet? And then I guess also in addition to that, look up tractors on the internet.
Already so enough happens to the best of us. Apparently, it's totally normal.
If you don't know, Kowalski is a regular viewer who is a farmer in Nebraska, and he calls him sometimes actually on his tractor.
Yeah,
I was
speculating. Just the Prairie Fire YouTube channel.
Oh, there we go. There's Kevin's back. I was speculating over this bimbofication shit. I'm like, okay, I'm convinced these days that Lindsey Graham is no longer just a regular homosexual. Like, it's not just that he's attracted to men. Like, he wants the wildest experience. Otherwise, it's not going to suffice. Like, he wants the jaws of life in his butt cheeks, and he's like fighting it. He's clenching. Like, that's the kind of shit he's into. That's my speculation.
Is that why you went to Disneyland or Disney World? Is that?
I mean, he had a bubble wand. Maybe he was using the bubble wand as a dildo. He doesn't have kids. Why does he have a bubble wand?
That was weird.
Surely the one thing that Lindsey Graham is attracted to is the state of Israel.
And bombs.
Him and
Ted Cruz. He gets super excited.
Cruz is very horny for Israel.
He's a He's a bibisexual. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
What is it in the UK? It'd be like he'd be a poofter or a nonce would be the more appropriate.
Whoa, the both of those are wildly inappropriate as it works out. No.
Is it really? Okay.
Well, poofter's like
he dropping that slurs on British YouTube, essentially.
I didn't know those were actual slurs. I thought it was just like an insult.
Well, they are. They are that too. Poofter is like an old school homophobic slur, but like people, it's sort of childish, I suppose, more than anything. And nonce means paedophile. So
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Two different things. I need to make sure I don't confuse those two, or just not use them. Probably.
That's absolutely fine. Look, and people will be like, whenever you speak to an American, you always give them leeway. for
Okay.
cultural misunderstanding. So
Yeah.
you'll probably be okay, actually. Yeah.
Okay,
Fun
that's fair.
fact: a parody band in the UK released a Christmas single called "Prince Andrew is a Sweaty Nonce."
Literally true.
It was a Christmas
love
single.
that.
And it's funny because it's true.
Why is
Yeah,
British humor
factually
so
correct.
good?
True. But like, well, it's because we can get away with it now, I suppose. We used to.
And I feel like the British insults they hit so much harder than Americans. Like when American says cunt, it's like,
dude,
okay.
they're so much better.
Yeah.
The guy was talking to me. He was like a sweaty knob, and I was like, "What?"
Right?
You guys have the best insults.
It stings. Like you feel it. Like if a British person called me like a sweaty knob, I'd be like, really? Like you
He was like, "You
say that
sweaty
about me?
knob? What the fuck?" And I was like,
There's so much venom, and I love it so much. I wish that there was an American equivalent because it just doesn't hit the same.
"No, I know." And the accent's already hot, so then like they get mad and they say the most ridiculous shit, and I'm like, I'm all ears. If you guys have any insults you can teach us, you can go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, Melter. Melter's a new
Melter.
one.
We love calling
Yeah.
people melters.
I've never
yeah.
heard that.
Yeah.
Like you're melting down.
I sort of, but it just means like I don't know, just a bad person, I suppose. Yeah.
You're wet.
Oh.
Usually quite wet and pathetic as well. I find
You say
that
Malta?
Melter.
M-E-L-T?
Yeah, like something that melts, I suppose.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
like he's a melter.
Yeah, he's a melter. He's a melt. Yeah.
Can I ask a question that might be weird? Do you have bussy, like an equivalent for bussy in the UK?
Do I
it's the
have
same.
This is Mike's
pussy?
favorite word.
I very much do, yes.
I'm gonna need you to head out. I'm gonna need you to
Well,
head out.
fun
Like, that
fact.
was the most diabolical fucking question you could ask, bro.
Like,
Fun
what is
fact-
the equivalent?
Well, there's literally a video you can find of Nigel Farage saying the phrase "hock to it on that bussy as it claps."
Whoa, we
Yes.
gotta look that up now. I didn't.
Yes.
Future.
Right. Is he
future
reading off
Prime
of the page or
Minister.
something?
Yeah,
Where did he get that from?
It sounds like he's reading.
He had a Cameo account that he got into trouble recently for like promoting far right shit on it, so he got closed down.
And for saying
But-
up the raw.
And saying up there are terrorist organisation, according to the British government, and wishing Jerry Adams a happy birthday, and wishing a happy birthday to a convicted and now dead pedophile Ian Watkins, which is fun. But usually people will pay him money to say dumb shit like "My bussy be so talented it's doing cartwheels." and things like
Oh
that.
my god! I think I found it.
Yeah, there's compilations on YouTube of him going like, "Oh, big chungus, epic chungus," you know.
I think this might be the one. Let me press play here.
Sigma spider.
Why is the filter so fucking hard on?
He's like deep fried.
Sigma. James, yes it is. This is Nigel Farage wishing you a big chungus. Congratulations for being the top G skibbity alpha male. We all promise to hawk tour on your bussy as it James, sponsored by Sam, Matthew, Tim, and Mo Lester.
And Mo Lester.
Great group.
Mo Lester.
Oh my god!
I don't get why so many people like him like do these things. Like even like the celebrities and like politics.
$30 is $30, Mac.
Find
Like,
find
are
the
you-
up the raw clip.
Listen, I'm not poo-pooing the idea of a cameo. Like, if I was famous, I would do them for people who were legit. But then if I came across one like this, I'd be like, pass. Here's your refund. I mean, I don't get why they do these ones.
Please find the up the raw clip. The up the raw clip is so good. Please find it.
The RA refers to the Irish Republican Army, a group designated as a terrorist organisation by the British government that this man hopes to become the Prime Minister of. That's fun.
Like Matt, I got one of Trump's chief of staff to talk about the gates of Auschwitz and say work sets you free, and the clip went so viral. It's in a Newsweek article. Like you can look up a Newsweek article where it says like the Alpha Friends or whatever, because they say anything unless they know otherwise. Like he won't say like the N-word or something like that, but if you send them things that they haven't figured out, they just read it, and that's like $100 on the spot to them.
I mean, it seems like if you don't know what something means, you should probably look it up or just pass on it. I mean, this is
Boomers don't do
ridiculous.
this. They don't look things up.
Yeah.
But like Nigel Farage literally has been tricked into saying racial slurs on Cameo as well. So he literally will just
Wow.
say virtually anything. Yeah. He's very much
Any
anchored
publicity.
now. Yeah.
There's a whole
I mean,
political section on Cameo.
Reminds you, there's a Friendly Geordies video where he paid a bunch of celebrities to make fun of the Prime Minister in Australia at the time, Scott Morrison, because of course none of those motherfuckers will know who Scott Morrison is, which is obviously very funny for people who know Australian politics. So I was considering doing the same for Wes Streeting. That would have been fine. Get Flavor Flav to call Wes Streeting a melter.
Oh, can we make that happen for the election? That would be amazing. Let's just get obscure like American celebrities to call British politicians pricks. That'd be amazing.
I just love that he's like Bussy. Like it just sounds so much more proper, even though it's Nigel Farage. That's amazing. One other thing that I wanted to touch on today was the big news of the day in America, which is the firing of Pam Bondi.
All right, I forgot that happened today.
What's so funny is that there's a Daily Mail article, and it talks about how she actually begged Donald Trump to not fire her. I just want to read like a couple of paragraphs because I find this so hilarious. So this is Daily Mail authors. There's like a shit ton of authors in this. Anyways, so Trump informed her of her decision shortly before his primetime Iran war address to the nation. A senior administration source told the Daily Mail. Bondi responded by pleading for the president to give her more time in the role, but Trump remained firm that her time leading the agency was over. The Daily Mail can exclusively reveal she was unhappy and tried to change his mind, the source said. However, the president told her she was fired and that an announcement would be made shortly. The announcement had been due to be made Friday, but has been rushed out after rampant media speculation erupted. So this is so embarrassing. She's like begging him.
Yeah.
That is the worst way to go. And Tulsi may be next, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't. I mean, the fact that we're still a step above Matt Gaetz, right? It shows you how pathetic we are at this point.
Well, this is the thing. Right. She's groveling before a man, and this cannot be repeated enough. A man that she knows is a paedophile.
Right.
She's got to have a lot of dirt.
She absolutely knows all about
it. Yeah.
Well, possibly.
Yeah.
But
the Dow is the highest I've ever been.
Yeah. It's over 50,000, so you have to stop talking about him fucking kids. Like this is a woman that needs to be in prison for what she did. It's crazy that she's going to transition to the public sector.
Needs to be
she was in contempt of the Senate, right? She was in contempt of her role, surely.
I mean, she at a minimum she committed perjury, so like we're looking at jail time for that. But like she also violated the law regarding the Epstein release that Massey and Khanna passed. So it's just great. Like there's so many people that are, I guess, going to transition into the private sector, but they should transition in the prison. Like it's the shit that she did is crazy. And he wasn't satisfied with her. Like she covered up his pedophilia, and he still wasn't satisfied with her. It's crazy.
Well, I don't know why anyone gets involved with this man. He stabs. Is there anyone who's worked with him that he's still friends with at any point in his entire life? He stabs everyone in the back, and then is just like, oh, I didn't even know who the fuck this person was. I've never met them before. I don't know who the fuck's Pam Bondi. I don't know who this person is.
They just grovel for him, like Ted Cruz groveling for him after he insulted his fucking wife. It's pathetic.
Right.
Exactly. He said his wife was ugly and that his dad was the Zodiac killer, and he fucking phone banked for him. What do you?
That happened.
I think all they care about is power, and they don't care if it's fleeting. Yeah. They don't care if it's going to be a flash in the pan. As long as they had a moment of power, a moment of the spotlight, like they're wired differently. We have to get into their heads because we're not wired that way. Like I'm not wired that way. Like that's insane to me. But for them, it's worth it. I think that's why Pam Bondi's like begging to keep her job. It's not because of it's for no other reason except for the fact that she wants that power, she wants that position, she wants that status.
My one hope is that a Democrat with some balls actually runs on. These pricks need to be in jail. I'm going after them.
Mm-hmm.
That would be amazing.
I mean, it's the same thing with ICE, right? It's the only thing that reigns in ICE is the threat of their freedom being taken away should the regime fall. And the Democrats at no point decided to go, okay, our explicit policy is when we are in control of all three branches of government, ICE will get prosecuted and they will go down and they will never see their families again. And that would be only the break that would pull them against the obviously unlimited rope that they have to be able to to be given themselves from the government, because JD Vance essentially came out and said ICE have total immunity from any kind of prosecution or hold of accountability. The only accountability can be the threat of what the Dems will do when they're in power, and they did fucking nothing. So the idea they'll do the same to people in higher positions of power who are even bigger enemies to the state than ICE thugs on the ground, again, it's for the birds, isn't it?
And somebody made a great point on Twitter. They're like, it's crazy how the Democrats have taken a firmer stance against Hassan Piker than the Iran war.
Literally so true.
There's no talk of impeachment for the war. The resolution for the war, but nothing. But Hassan Piker.
But to be fair, Hassan did do 9/11, so.
I mean, the thing that's actually really incredible about the Hassan thing with that segment on, I think, what was it, Jake Tapper's show, is that they're literally talking about how anti-Semitic Hassan is and how people in the Democratic Party don't want to associate with him because he's so horrible. And then the next show has a segment where they are interviewing Hassan about his trip to Cuba, and he comes off really great in that interview. It's like CNN didn't even like this attack on Hassan was so thrown together they couldn't even get their story straight throughout their shows. Either that, or Jake Tapper specifically called an audible for his own show and had no idea what his own network did with Hassan previously, and was just like, I got to do a hit on Hassan right here, right now on my show. And then he was like, "What?" Like after a show, he's like, "What? We had a Hassan segment on another show that's completely different." Yeah. Like it's unbelievable.
It's so wild to see them go after like a Twitch stream, like my boy Mamdani. That literally do you condemn Hamas and Hassan Piker as if those two things are remotely comparable? Like it's just like it's. Do they not realize how mad they come across to normal people when they're like, "Do you condemn the guy on YouTube?" Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The thing is that they don't actually care about Hassan specifically. He's a proxy for the entirety of the left. He is the yardstick with which they are judging everybody who is engaging on the ground with the Democratic Party by saying, "Look, we have created the line in his Hassan Piker's ideology. Everyone who is him and to the left is persona non grata in terms of campaigning, in terms of being a candidate, in terms of whatever it is. If you are part of that cadre, if you're part of essentially anyone who believes in the opposition to Zionism and the Zionist entity, then you cannot be part of the party. That's the yardstick that the consultants want. But you can't really do that in open primaries." And all that it's done is raise the profile of Abdel El Said, and he's getting double the number of canvases now.
Yeah,
it's a great point, and it shows just how desperate they are. Like another thing about how they went after Hassan, this wasn't CNN specifically, but it went from how dangerous he was and how horrible it was that he's gaining this stranglehold on like young Democrats or progressives, to all of a sudden the newest line of attack on Hassan was that he's actually not that popular. He only has 35,000 views because they misunderstood a AI summary that said he had 35. He regularly gets 35,000 concurrent views, and so all these media outlets went, including the editor of The Atlantic, what's his face? I'm having a mental block right now. The guy who cheated on Iraq.
David Frum?
David
Frum?
Yeah, David Frum, I think it was.
Frum?
Yeah. Wrote a piece about how he only has 35,000 viewers on any given night, which is so small compared to MSNBC's audience on any given night. And it's like, no, you idiots, you don't understand what you're even talking about. First of all, 35,000 concurrent views is insane. That's a lot of concurrent views. But also they are concurrent views, which means at any given point you go on and there are 35,000 people watching him. That isn't how many his stream is getting. His stream at the end of the night, when all the unique views are counted up, is hundreds of thousands of views. And then when you look at his audience beyond that, people who watch the YouTube clips that aren't live, he's got a huge audience that wrecks MSNBC's, but they want their new thing.
And not just that, but like, you're a multi-million dollar like corporation, and he's a guy who occasionally nips up for a piss during his stream. Like, the fact that you're even comparing yourself to that and you're still losing is embarrassing.
What this reminds me of? This reminds me of exactly the same tactics the Trump campaign pulled with James Tallarico, right? Both we have to block him from being seen because he'll threaten us because he's better than Jasmine Crockett, but also he's he's not relevant to us. We don't think that he's. They try to do this both weak and strong type deal about him when trying to get rid of him from the show, and then all it did is end up Streisand affecting him. So that interview with Colbert with Tallarico went kind of incredibly mega viral, and again that's happening with Hassan and the candidates he backs.
Mm-hmm. Masterful gambit to the neoliberal establishment because they're fighting, but they're not doing the best work, which I appreciate.
All of the lib wine mums who watch MSNBC or whatever at home, they don't know who he is, and they hear, "Oh, this guy thinks that murdering children in Gaza is bad." Well, he's certainly more of a fighter than Chuck Schumer. Let's check out his Twitch stream. There we go. Instantly, he's getting more fans, and he's on. I mean, his way in which the Hassan Pike has kind of wormed his way into the Jennifer Welch crowd as well has been really interesting to see.
The Streisand effect is amazing. We saw that in Britain with Kneecap, didn't we? The Irish group, because of their pro-Palestinian tendencies and sort of records and whatever, were virtually unknown. And then the government came out and said, "Oh, Glastonbury Festival should ban them." And then all of a sudden, they're like one of the headline acts at Coachella.
Yeah. I know about Kneecap because of that, and Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting exposed to all these artists who are getting canceled because they're supposedly anti-Semitic, when in actuality, they're just saying, maybe we shouldn't kill kids. Same with, like, Miss Rachel. Like, I'm sure that she's more popular than ever because of this.
Yeah. It's so perfect because, like, if there's one thing a rock band can do, like, can sort of raise awareness on, is if the government come out and say, "Don't listen to this thing," what is more likely to want to get a young person motivated to listen to that thing than the Prime Minister saying, "Fuck these guys"? You know what I mean?
And also, like,
it was like when. It was like when the politicians back in the 90s, what was it? I think it was like Al Gore's wife, Tipper Gore. Yeah. She was one of the four people at the forefront of the fight to put the labels on like music albums, CDs that said like explicit content. And I mean, what would make a kid want an album more than something says like, "This is dangerous to listen to"? Don't listen to this, explicit content inside, rated X. I mean, it makes you go like, "Oh, I really got to see what's in there."
Yeah. That sticker was basically like, "Buy me, buy this thing." It's not the perfect advertiser. You wouldn't want to make a record that didn't have that on it, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it's also like, and this is literally what's just happened to like public opinion to Israel in the UK as well. Like, the more that people have tried to smear people as being anti-Semitic for opposing the genocide, the more that it's raised the salience of the issue of Gaza. And now we had a poll that we were looking at on Twitter just beforehand, Kev, that was the poll showing that 45% of British people believe that Israel treats Palestinians the way Nazis treated the Jews. That's how badly this has all gone in terms of public perception of Israel in the country, despite everyone and their mum getting smeared as anti-Semitic over it, you know?
Holy shit.
Because, like, you can lie and smear and try and, control the narrative, but ultimately, when people see dead babies, when people see, like,
babies every day,
a parent having to carry the remnants of their child in a plastic bag, like, you can't get around that. You can't, like, there's no set of words you can say that makes that okay.
Yeah, you've seen those interviews where she's like, "I have to basically try and advocate on the behalf of Israel past the wall of dead children. So how do we get past the wall of dead children?"
Like, the Sarah Hurwitz moment,
kids, right? Like, that would probably be the best way to do it.
And it's well, exactly. The sickness of the heart of the Israeli system is that at no point would they think to themselves, "Should we stop making a wall of dead children?"
Right.
That would never enter
that's not even an option. Yeah, no.
Exactly.
It's just how do we make the wall more palatable? Yeah, we need.
It's a marketing problem, but they're not going to stop killing children. It's just a matter of like, how do we get people to be okay with us killing children? That's
it. Literally is.
Why is Israel?
I mean, that's one of the reasons why they were so upset about Miss Rachel specifically too. I know everyone focuses. They focused on like the tweets where she was just like stop, like, not wanting kids to die is not anti-Semitic or something like that. But the reality is this all happened just when she was shooting footage for her next video, which is out now, by the way, of her doing a kid segment with a little girl, a little Palestinian girl who lost both of her legs in Gaza. And like I have a 9-month-old. She watches Miss Rachel with me. We've watched that clip because it's in a longer video. Like we must have seen that clip 24 times by now. Her older siblings have watched it with her, and they like that clip, and they've asked questions. Why is that girl got the 2 prosthetics? Like they didn't know what prosthetic was. They did. That's 100% the basis for it all. The fact that she dared to do this video with this little girl who lost her limbs in Gaza, and by putting this little girl in the video, American children are going to ask, "Oh, that little girl in that video, she's just like me, except for that thing. Why is she like that?" And then they find out, and there you go. That gives you everything you need to know about it.
And it's impossible to smear her as an extremist because, like, it doesn't hold up with the reality of her doing like she's like Mrs. Rogers or some shit. Like she's just like the nicest, most wholesome character in the world. It's difficult. Like you can try and paint a politician as like nefarious and evil, and they're connected to a terrorist group, whereas she does a kids show. You can't. Like, she's not Hamas or ISIS or some shit. You know.
I mean, it's the same with
so dangerous to the Hasbro thing to have someone like that who is basically unattackable in the way that they are able to attack people.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
like
their attacks. You know?
It's the exact same stuff that happened with the terrorist grannies getting arrested for protesting the genocide in this country. I mean, and what the biggest danger of all of this is that it looks so fucking insane to any normie on the street what's happening, right? The reaction from the political class to obvious outpourings of grief from the public at seeing just such an obvious atrocity being committed, and the political class just clamping down on any opposition is that people look at that and they see it and then they think, oh well, you know, all of these anti-Semitic narratives about Jews being in control of stuff. Well, maybe there's something to this. When of course it isn't. This is about geopolitics. This is about imperialism. It's about, you know, the relationship between the West and their outpost in the region. That's why they protect Israel, right? But they don't care about the fact that the way in which it fucking poisons the public discourse by trying to link Jewish people to Israel.
But the Zionists have massively overplayed their hand in the last couple of years, and I don't think they even realize it just yet what's coming down the pipe. An entire generation, as Matt was pointing out, a generation of children now are going to be growing up in a world where all they've ever known is Israel being monstrous. Those kids are going to come of age and are going to become voters and consumers and, you know, involved in the national discourse. And all of a sudden, the cast iron consensus in Washington and Westminster and Ottawa and wherever else all of a sudden disintegrates because the public are so dead against what their government's complicity in Israel's crimes that they're going to find it more and more difficult to carry on with the Zionist project in the way that they have. They're either going to have to massively adapt or it's going to have to crumble.
Well,
it can't sustain itself as it currently is.
You can't whitewash videos of Israeli lawmakers wearing noose pins to celebrate their final solution law. Like you can't like whitewash this stuff. You can't paint around it. It's just naked, you know, genocidal fervor. And because we've not been propagandized, because we grew up in a post-New Historians world, we know the Nakba was a reality. They didn't just flee, they were ethnically cleansed. This has been the plan from Zionists from day one, from Plan Dalet to today. They're just engaging in the plans that Ben-Gurion was lending credence to from the very first days of the Nakba being completed in totality today, and the expansion to Greater Israel. And we don't have any propaganda to go with that. You know, the West was taught, obviously incorrectly, about like the Arab armies telling people to flee, and all the propaganda about about all Palestinians being indoctrinated into terrorism rather than forced into terrorism because of the material conditions of occupation. Right, like these narratives that once were the received wisdom of older people. We haven't been born into this. So young people have just been naturally predisposed to not liking what Israel does because it's monstrous, isn't it?
Yeah.
100%. I mean, like, remember your debate with Brianna Wu, Kev? Where all she was doing was repeating just the same narrative that was fed down Western kind of propaganda channels that, again, no basis in fact, but she believed it because she was told it. And that propaganda is powerful.
It is, but I mean, again, Well, indeed, yeah. The media's control of the narrative is fascinating. The doublespeak you get, like it was barely even commented on. The Israeli government are just like, oh yeah, we're going to stay in the area we've taken of Lebanon. Oh, so that's just an annexation then? That's not,
Yeah.
like, you're not even pretending to
It's
protect
Lebensraum.
Druze or anyone else. Yeah, okay, cool.
Oh no, but they're specifically only ethnically cleansing Shiites, by the way. Did you see this?
Right.
That the IDF specifically
I did.
told Lebanese Maronite Christians to not hide Shiite Muslims in their houses. Literally going full Anne Frank on
Yeah.
Lebanese families, saying,
Yeah.
stop hiding the Muslims, we're there to ethnically cleanse
I
them.
wonder why lots of British people see the parallel between them and the Nazis.
Mhm.
It's almost like
Yeah,
they're
and-
doing Nazi shit, you know?
The article about that, by the way, which is crazy. I didn't even think about this. Which is how I guess how used to the propaganda I am. The New York Times did an article about this, about how like the Christian and Druze leaders in southern Lebanon were told to expel the Shiites. And throughout the whole article, they didn't mention ethnic cleansing once, like not a single time, but described it in like great detail, like textbook ethnic cleansing. Didn't even fucking say the words. And it's just it's not going to work. And I feel like Israel, like the Hasbara propaganda, it was already starting to fade away. Even back in like 2021 during the Sheikh Jarrah evictions in the West Bank, there were so many people that were like concerned about that. You had politicians, criticize AOC all you want, but she was there with other members of the squad condemning this. And this, like, Israel has just gone so far beyond what they've done, and it's so transparent and like ubiquitous in front of our faces that you can't accept it.
Yeah.
Like, the propaganda just falls apart.
It's sort of a twofold problem from Israel's point of view. It's firstly the cameras are everywhere, so it's almost impossible to do anything secretly anymore. Even though they've tried to ban foreign journalists and they've killed God knows how many journalists in several countries, and they've, all of that, it's still going to be impossible to hide it completely in a way that 100 years ago it wouldn't have even been mentioned because no one would have known about it. So that's one problem they have, and secondly, there is no moderating force in Israeli politics anymore. There's no Labour Party to like hold back the crazy bastards, and so there's no strategy. The project of like slowly taking bits and bits and bits and bits has worked perfectly. Again, if you just think of it from a purely Machiavellian point of view, it's been it's a masterpiece of taking other people's fucking property. They've just bit by bit taken it and just gradually strangled to the point where you can literally do those time-lapse videos now of land that used to be occupied by Palestinians shrinking and shrinking and shrinking to ever tinier pockets. And it was working really, really well for a long time, for decades, and they got control over the kind of international narrative around this, and they got Daddy America and Britain and all the rest of it to support them in this. And now there's no strategy involved. They're just going hell for leather. There's no like doing it bit by bit anymore. They want to like get it over and done with tomorrow if they can. And that's just not how it can possibly work, because you can't just get rid of millions of people overnight, however much they're fucking trying, of course. And so they're now sort of overplayed their hand to the point where, it's the old line about, was it, you can fleece a you can fleece a sheep many times, but you can only skin it once. And they've skinned it. And it's they just, there's no, I don't think there's any coming back from this for Zionism now. Either the West has the West has to kind of really sharpen itself up quickly to try and salve whatever they can of a Palestinian people, because like they, at some point, genocides become 100%, don't they? Unfortunately, and so but the Zionists themselves have set up such a problem for themselves in the long term, because the West, who are the benefactors, let's be honest, Israel doesn't survive on its own. The West is gradually going to fall out of love with Israel, I think, and it's those are not going to give them a blank check anymore.
Well, we're seeing this happen all across Europe. The breaking down of alliances with the United States too. Spain have been really kind of leading the pack with this one, breaking off of relations with Israel, blocking their airspace for US military planes, having to go round Spain and through the Mediterranean to get from our bases in the UK to be able to bomb Iran. Spain and Norway are the first ones to recognise Palestinian state, with Ireland as well. We should be very kind of forthright in Pedro Sanchez, my goat, really, I guess, but the tide against Israel is turning me like Italians said a general strike about Palestine. It was crazy.
Well, literally, did you see Giorgia Meloni at the United Nations condemning it? And I'm like, motherfucker, our Prime Minister, our Labour Prime Minister has been outflanked to the left by the fascist leader of Italy.
Didn't she call for sanctions on Israel too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, how is a
she
fascist?
said that the EU should sanction Israel for its crimes.
Wow. It's
And also
crazy.
she got
It's
mad
not
at-
just
yeah.
Israel, by the way. Like the whole, like our generation and younger generations. It's not just that they're turned off by Israel and like turning against Israel. It's all of like the neoliberal establishments throughout Europe and in North America who supported it. Like that's going to be like, this is a radicalizing moment where everybody's been turned against them as well. It's like permanently delegitimizing, because if you support a genocide, then like nothing's off the table for you. You simply do not care about human rights. You cannot be trusted on any other issue because you are okay with genocide or materially supporting it, as is the case with like the United States.
Yeah, 100%. The concept of international law being anything other than a joke has been disintegrated as well. Arguably, it could have been said that happened after Iraq, but like at least in theory, the kind of post-Cold War era where the United States pretended that international law was a thing, that's
Well, like
gone.
Colin Powell made a speech to the fucking Security Council trying to justify the war. No such shit nowadays from Trump or anybody like that, right? And I guess, well, obviously NATO might be breaking down soon, apparently, according to Trump, which is funny.
Fucking crossed, yeah.
Well, yeah, because Zach Polanski was absolutely panned in the media in the UK for suggesting that Donald Trump is an unreliable ally. The age of NATO is over. We need to look towards Europe, like other European countries, for collective defense because we can't rely on the US. Everyone called him like Putin's puppet, and
Are
now
you serious?
Yeah. And
Literally, Keir Starmer's literally said, because they've also got a policy of drug liberalisation. He literally said of the Green Party at Prime Minister's questions in the House of Parliament that they were, quote, soft on drug. There was high on drugs, soft on Putin.
Yeah.
That's
amazing. And now Keir Starmer is getting the begging bowl over to Europe, asking for closer integration on like military stuff, which is basically what Zach Polanski's position was to begin with.
Just quickly to the American establishment, please, by all means, pull out of NATO, but also get your fucking bases out of our country then as well.
Right.
See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.
I don't know how this is acceptable, like with Europe. With all the shit we've done, how are they not like, you got to get the fuck out? I mean,
because we're cucks. We're Eurococks. We always have been, always will be.
Literally, the image, and I know it's like, it might seem harsh, but the image of Keir Starmer scrabbling around at Trump's feet to pick up his papers. Like, I know, like he's helping out an old man who dropped some papers. Like, it seems like rude or whatever not to, but like there's a symbolism involved in that that's just so on the nose, it hurts.
Just like with Trump, he was pushing in Netanyahu's chair, and that image is always used as how he's like...
My favourite ever. Ever. During his first term, Trump went to Saudi Arabia, and he fucking curtsied. He literally curtsied before the leader of Saudi Arabia. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of 19th century shit is this? Who the fuck curtsies in the 21st century? What?
So there was, to bring it back to the bimbofication, there's somebody photoshopped, that picture of Trump in his first term with, I think, the Saudi crown prince and the president of Egypt, and they've got their hand on that like glowing ball. Somebody photoshopped Brian Gnome's big titties, and they were all putting their hands on it.
That's great.
Love life. Beautiful stuff.
Well, this is about the time when we go to our super chats. You are both more than welcome to stay as long as you want to, but no pressure. You could bounce or you could stay. But if you are going to leave, please make sure that you tell everybody where they can find you, where you stream, where you post. If we want to hear more,
I'm sure people the super chats will warrant responses from us. So I'm happy to stick around.
Yeah,
awesome. Okay.
Unless that was like a subtle way of telling us to fuck off.
No,
I don't mind. I wouldn't take it personally because I don't know how you two are still up, but oh my god, I'm falling asleep right here.
It was nice to meet you, David.
They have super chats for like 3 hours, so y'all might be stuck here. But...
It's not that long. We've gotten fast.
I will say,
it was great meeting you too.
Lovely,
David.
I learned a lot today.
Bye, David.
Yeah,
back in the day, we spent like an hour on each super chat, like full blown like video essays on every question people would ask us or whatever. Now we learn that all right, you have some, we either just read it Or if you have a very interesting super chat, we'll give it like a couple of minutes. But we can't do a video essay on everyone's super chat.
True.
We've gotten much better.
I was up early to go down to London to go do the whole Novara Live. So I did script writing. We write the script for the show throughout the day, and then I filmed Novara Live. We did it live at 6, and then I immediately went to the pub, and then I got a train back to Nottingham. And once I got back to Nottingham, I then made dinner, and then I immediately started this. So I've been working essentially since 10 a.m. I guess, and it is now 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm still just like wired. I'm still in the zone.
Well, I'm
just
glad
go 6 more hours and you'll have a 24-hour day. Why not?
Yeah, no shit. Well, so just in case that some of the members of the audience dip out in the VOD and whatnot, just tell them where to find you so that way they at least know, so they can follow you still.
So you should go at No Justice MTG. That is my handle on every single platform. Doesn't matter which platform it is, that will be my handle on it. At No Justice MTG. You should also subscribe to Novara Media, UK-based left-wing political content. I host their live show every single Thursday, if that sounds like your thing. If you like socialist politics, from trade unionism, green politics, that's what I do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can find me in a gutter, drunk and flecked in my own vomit.
With rats.
With rats, big massive rats everywhere, stalking the landscape, eating the humans. You can find me. I'm Kevin Logan on YouTube, or at KFLogan1875 on Twitch, which is really easy to find. I've got great game, fantastic. Fucking hell. Go on. Sorry.
All right, I'll go ahead and get to them. Ariana, did you want me to read yours first?
Yeah, I can read. Also, I'm so sorry I've been so quiet. I just I've been struggle busting a bit, so
No, I feel you. You've been dealing with a lot, I'm sure.
Very sorry for coming on late as well. I came
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Deep into the British Parliament, and I was like, oh, I fear I am useless right now. But I'm here for the vibes, though. Also, love you, Kevin. Also, love you, No Justice MTG. I've been friends with both of you for a while, so I was like, I can't miss this. But I fear I walked in a little too deep into the British talk. I was like, all right, I'm lost. I'm just gonna sit here and.
You know what? So what you guys both said about the UK, it honestly rejuvenated me, because it's like, oh my God, it's not just America. It's like, it made me feel so much better.
It feels like so. There's a political comedian, or a political comedy writer in the UK called Armando Iannucci, who's famous for writing The Thick of It, which is like our version of Veep, and basically his job is over. You can't write satire better than how this Labour government have been performing in office, right? It doesn't feel real.
If you wrote that the homeless minister made people homeless,
the corruption minister convicted of corruption.
Yeah, you'd go, that's too on the nose. It's too silly. That's not real. That would never happen.
The scabs going on strike, it's all farcical.
That's my favorite. That's truly amazing.
How shit have you got to be to have 2 sets of workers go on strike? That's mad. There you
go. Okay, Ariana, you'll have to tell me what your first one is, because I'm not seeing. It's not showing the little link.
Nintendo Gaming, as
Nintendo
always.
Gaming. Okay. Let me.
Is it about Johnny Somali?
Nintendo Gaming has given up on Johnny Somali, thank God.
Yeah, it's been. Is it this one?
It's been a minute. Don't remind him though, please, because he's gonna start talking about Johnny Somali again. I just don't have the mental capacity to handle it. Nintendo Gaming, $6.99. Thank you so much. In the horror movie Fresh 2022, Molly clearly states that women like villain Steve's wife Anne are the problem. A real life example is Amber Heard. Have no clue what you're referring to, as always.
Yeah, I don't know any of those references. I wasn't even following the Amber Heard stuff, so I can't even comment on that.
I don't know. All I know is that Amber Heard shit the bed, or maybe it was Johnny Depp. That's really the only thing I remember from that whole entire
I know
trial.
One of them shit the bed, and
Someone
you know what?
Shit the bed,
more power to them.
And then it ended up in Discovery, so that's all we know.
Yeah.
Looney Tunes, thank you so much for the $4.99. Hello, Mrs. Kowalski. You guys are bold, bro. You guys are bold.
Damn.
Just remember to give the haters punishment by listening. Me impersonate Alex Jones. Love you. Love you more. Thank you so much for being in here. What happened to Alex Jones? Oh no. I feel
Oh,
like
he died.
What?
No, he didn't.
No, I'm just kidding. No,
I was
I wish. No, he gave up on Donald Trump, I guess, entirely, and said that Trump is dying or something, and he feels betrayed because of the Iran war. I'm paraphrasing it. I don't know the full story. I know that others have done videos on this. He's just a mess. But I mean, when has he not been a mess?
Well, the last time I heard of him was a couple of weeks ago, or last week was it, when he turned up drunk
on Tim Pool's show? Yeah,
and started going on about Joe Rogan's pussy.
Oh my god, dude!
Oh, I missed that.
Was he in a Hawk 2 on that bussy?
Yeah. No, like he wasn't just drunk. He was like, how the fuck are you still like upright drunk?
I would pay crazy money to run into him in a bar drunk. Bro, are you kidding me? Alex Jones at like a pub drunk?
Well, he was at he was on Tim Pool's show, and you could watch it because it was on air. And Tim Pool had to pretend that everything Alex Jones was saying made absolute sense. It was very funny. Like Alex Jones was just mumbling nonsense that made zero, like didn't, not even like crazy conspiracy rants. Like literally the words did not make sense together. And Tim Pool had to just like nod and go like, oh, very astute. Yes, exactly.
Saying the words very astute referring to Alex Jones, like I'm going to need you guys to both log off. That's crazy. Okay, Max Danger, thank you so much for the $5. I appreciate it. I hope things start looking up for you. Keep all the great work. Thank you.
Wait, I haven't found that person. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
What is their name again?
Max Danger. It's
$5. Here it is. Okay.
Thank you. I honestly, it's not even that I'm doing bad. I'm just kind of getting to this point where we're over a month into this war in Iran. Some Iranian activists who were pro-war are now starting to eat shit, and they're like, no, Trump, don't bomb Iran like that, bomb Iran like this, bomb Iran like that. And I'm like, when are we gonna reach that stage where you guys are all gonna admit that you ate shit and you fucked up? Because I feel like I'm the only one holding down the fort right now. I'm the biggest Iranian creator who has been vehemently and very clearly anti-war. They've been relentlessly harassing me for the past month, but I'm starting to get to that point where I'm like, all right, more of you need to start stepping in, because like I know you guys are reaching that point where you guys are all starting to eat your own shit and you're starting to regret what the fuck you advocated for, but like I need you guys to say it out loud, because I can't just be the only one doing this, you know what I mean?
Isn't a plurality against them, against the war now, of like the Iranian diaspora? Oh, is it a majority?
I thought it was 66-33 now.
Oh, holy shit.
Okay, so this lobbying group called NIAC did a poll on Iranians, and the problem is that, yes, that is true. Most Iranians are not pro-war. The problem is that they're all collectively scared to speak out because the pro-war minority or whatever, they are so loud. They have a lot of power. They are the ones that take up a lot of the space in mass media. Anyone that comes out and says they are anti-war, they are immediately pegged as you're pro-Islamic Republic then. It's almost turned into like one of those situations with Israel and Gaza where it's like you say the slightest thing against Israel and it's like, oh, so you're anti-Semitic. It's like, no, I'm not anti-Semitic. I just don't fuck with Israel. Like, it's that simple. I don't fuck with politicians that put nooses on their suits. Like, it's not that fucking complicated. But the thing is, like, a lot of these like normie Iranians, right? They post something and then multiple people say, oh, so you're an IRGC supporter. And then they just back off. They're like, it's not worth it. Right. So I'm like, oh, y'all need to stop being chicken shit. Cause I know you guys don't support it. You guys need to start talking and start vocally not supporting it. But my problem also is that, okay, if we do hypothetically stop this war now, let's say like, I don't know, I have like some Disney wand and I stop the war. Okay. America has fucked up so bad that whatever Islamic regime that existed pre-war, bro, this shit's about to become like North Korea. Like, these motherfuckers are not about to play. Their shit is about to be 10 times stricter. They're about to be 10 times more on guard. They're about to pour way more money into their military, into their infrastructure to fight military. They're going to pour a shit ton of money into Hezbollah, Hamas, whatever. And it's like, so y'all really just created more of a problem for yourselves from the American mindset, right? But the thing is, like, they can't back out because they know this. So what the fuck are we going to do? Are we going to pass the $200 billion package to drag out this war, which, by the way, $200 billion is only going to cover 5 months? Or are we going to pull out now and deal with an Iran that is going to be much more strict, much more hardline, and much more of a pain in the ass in Western countries? What are we going to do? But then also, after every single war, Iran also goes on this rampage where they start killing a bunch of people because they're like, all these people are spies. So last time this happened, they killed a bunch of Afghan refugees, which, by the way, Iran holds the biggest population of Afghan refugees in the whole entire world. After America pulled out of Afghanistan because they didn't have a fucking plan, so they all rushed the border and they went into Iran. So,
oh no,
these Afghans are all spies. Kill them all.
There we go.
You
froze for a second.
Yeah, I mean, we had this kind of discourse in the UK as well, like whether anyone who's opposed Trump, like for right wingers would usually love the IRGC, and I'm just like, these people are so baby brained that they think that the magic formula is assassinate Ayatollah, regime change overnight. It's baby brain shit. Like
it doesn't work that way.
And they didn't learn from Venezuela. You can't just kidnap one person and then the government's going to collapse. What the fuck do you think the government is?
I've said this multiple times. The Iranian government is a theocratic. It's an ideological government. We're not talking about a singular dictator. We are talking about a government that is ideologically, theologically extremist Muslim, right? It's almost like taking out fucking a cartel leader and going like, all right, the cartel's over. No, the cartel's not over. The next dude goes up, becomes the leader, and then y'all chase him for another 15 years, waste all of our money, and then the same shit over and over again, because you can't just get rid of the cartel. The cartel is an ideology. It's not just you know what I mean? So
exactly, and they'd wargame this stuff over and over again. They knew that this was always going to be a threat. They had understudy after understudy after understudy, not just for obviously the lineage of the supreme leader, but for everyone in the IRGC, all the members in government, all the people in the council. Everyone had multiple understudies ready to go in case they got assassinated by a foreign power.
America is a country that has the designated survivor. So that if in case the entire American government was fucking wiped out on Inauguration Day, at least one person can head a new government and carry on. And that government didn't understand that killing one dude wouldn't bring down a nation of tens of millions of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally,
cool.
and like politically internally, like the Pezeshkian's, like his career's fucking over now. The reformism movement's dead. It's over.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
if they actually cared about human rights and progress in Iran, this is the worst thing they could have done.
Yeah.
Yep. Simple as that.
Sorry, Matt, did you want to say something?
No, I was just agreeing with everything you were saying. I mean, we go through this all the time, right? Like, it's not like even that this is like, oh, lesson learned. No, this happens like what I used to be like every maybe 4 or 5 years or something. No, now it's like every few months there's a deja vu moment that happens and no one learns a fucking lesson. And everyone says like, what was that?
There's a
like Libya.
We have to liberate.
Right, Libya.
It's incredible that it's all the fucking MAGA people who went after Hillary Clinton, obviously, rightly over Benghazi, and then suddenly they're not learning the problems of what happened, what Hillary Clinton literally did in Libya. We're speed running Libya all over again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just so, anyways, sorry for my rant. I'm just so irritated with everyone because I'm like, we've reached a point in this war where America cannot just simply pull out, and they know that. They know that. The supreme leader's son, they just gave that motherfucker a Batman origin story. They killed his dad. They killed his wife. They killed his kid. They killed everyone. They allegedly blew off his legs too. So I'm sorry. You think this dude's going to sit on the throne and be like, yeah, let's have nuke talks, babe? Like, no! You fucking morons. It's fucked. It's fucked. And that's why I'm exceptionally stressed out because I'm like, well, now America can't pull out. Like, it's too late. You guys can't just pull out because this government's going to be way too.
But you can tell how badly it's gone for America because at the start of the war, obviously Iran were talking and America just decided to do a fucking war because Benjamin Netanyahu debated the president. Whereas now America's like, let's talk, and Iran's like, nah, fuck you, bro.
No, and you want to know what the craziest part? So I was following all of that. We were having nuke deal talks with Iran earlier last year. I don't know if you guys remember. Israel fucking bombed the nuke talks, like the
Yeah.
place they were having meetings on. I don't
Well,
remember.
they do this.
I think it was like the
Keir
fifth.
I mean,
Starmer's
we
national security
literally-
advisor was there. Keir Starmer's national security advisor, Jonathan Powell, was at the fucking talks when
They bombed it.
when the
Israel bombed
Well,
it.
they did.
Israel
They
was
do
like,
this all the
no.
time. When the Hamas negotiators turned up in, was it Qatar or wherever the hell
They
it
bombed
was?
them too.
They
Yeah, that's
bombed
what
the
they
hotel
do.
they were staying
That's
in.
what
Like,
they do.
it's almost as if they don't want peace talks, and
Yeah.
actually they want perpetual war in that region.
It's like America was literally, Trump was trying to do peace talks with Iran, and Israel bombed the shit out of, and then the negotiators was like, fuck this, we're not going back. Which, fair. Fuck, if I went to a job and they were like, your job is to negotiate, and I see a fucking Tomahawk missile pass through my head, I'm not fucking going back either.
Nope.
So, anyways.
10 years ago, Obama, then President Obama, his crowning foreign policy achievement was the Iran deal, in which the United States was headed towards good relations with Iran that would have avoided everything. And because conservatives didn't like that Obama did that, and also some very pro-Israel Democrats like Chuck Schumer didn't like that Obama did that, they all got together and blew up the Iran deal that was this crowning foreign policy achievement that set us on a good course with Iran for the first time in decades. And now we're here. I mean, this is what they wanted. This is what they wanted. And now that they're actually dealing with it, I guess they don't want it anymore.
The irony is that Trump was kind of convinced to blow up the Iran deal on like Colonel Autumn logic. Like, I don't mind having an Iran deal, but I don't want Obama's name on it. I want my name on it. It's such a fucking baby brain. Like, I feel like half the time he's convinced to do the dumb shit he does because someone just pokes him and goes, you know, Biden beat you in that election. You lost to election to a corpse. You have to do this to avenge your election loss. I swear down that's what Stephen Miller told him to justify the invasion of Venezuela, like the Dominion voting machine shit. Of course, Miller has his other intentions likewise with Rubio, but to convince Trump.
Yeah, there have been sources quoted saying that apparently it seems that Lindsey Graham had coached Benjamin Netanyahu to go in there and essentially do machismo bullshit on Trump, right? And say, no other president has done this because they were all fucking pussies. And you need to be the strong man who goes in and fucking deals with the Iranians. And literally, like, again, debated him into fucking doing a war. Like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, I suppose the lesson is, don't elect senile lunatics, maybe.
No.
That would be a lesson that would be nice for them to learn.
We have had two senile lunatics in charge in a row, and they both did genocide. So,
well, exactly. I was about to say, if either of the parties could put up a not fucking senile lunatic, that would be good. Thanks, please. Maybe.
Did you all see the poll? I don't remember who conducted it, but it was of Americans and who they believe is winning the war. And 75% said America, 25% of Americans said Iran.
Well, all I'll say is when you declare war on, when you declare victory on day one, and then you're still there 3-4 weeks later, like when a team wins, they don't stay on the fucking pitch. Like it's over. Right. You leave and go home. No, they're still going. That's not winning, is it then, really? Like,
and it's crazy how, like, at first it was very predictable. Like on Fridays, he would make a huge threat. Markets would close, and then when they reopen on Monday, he would try to calm the markets by saying, oh, there's a peace deal or something. And now, like, on a daily basis, multiple times per day, I feel like he's changing it, where it's like, we're going to bomb them into the Stone Age, and also we're making a peace deal with them, just back and forth.
Did you see Macron, the French president, today come out and say, Trump needs to be serious. You don't need to say stuff every day. Literally, that's what he said. Like,
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, yeah, it's like a toddler. I mean, the way he oscillates between multiple points. It's just, and he did this whole address last night that was so unhinged.
Well, it's been wild. Like, as a quote unquote ally nation, you know, subjugated colony, to see him swing wildly from "we don't even need your help" to "we need desperate help. We need your boats and ships and tanks and guns and bombs." And you're like, he's literally like a kind of drunken ex-boyfriend who can't deal with a breakup, where he's like, "We were good together, baby. Come on, come back to me." And then, "I never loved you anyway, you bitch. Fuck off." You know,
well, it's also like a child in the.
So wild.
It's also like a child in the. He's just like, well, we fucked up the Strait of Hormuz, but Europe's got to go and clean it up. I'm like, oh, sorry, not my circus, not my monkeys, mate. Fuck off. You clean up your own mess.
That's what's wild
But
to me.
also,
It's like,
like-
we don't need it. They have to do it. Bro, you are the one who started this.
The amount of money America spends on its military, and yet it doesn't seem to have enough of the things that it actually needs to do anything.
Oh no! We spend so much money on the military, but then we bomb a fucking elementary school the first day in, like,
Yeah.
because our military people are so astute that they actually look.
Oh no, they're fucking idiots.
They had.
Well, I meant like they don't have they don't have military bases, so they have to use our military base. Why? Like you've got the biggest
Right.
fucking like why? That's really weird.
Hasn't
and they
the
don't have enough.
Pentagon, like, missed
the Iranians blew up their radar capacity, so they literally don't even have fucking radar in the region. And you're like, where is all this money fucking going?
No, that's
Hasn't the
another
Pentagon
thing.
failed its audit like 3 times in a row? Or some shit?
I think everybody underestimated the Iranian government. And listen, I'm a hater of most governments. That includes Iranian government too. Fuck them. I don't like them. But when you have a government with so much natural resources that pours so much fucking money into their military and has some of the smartest fucking people on the planet who are literally trained to build bombs, no amount of sanction matters because Iran they invested so much money into their military and apparatus. They are literally having bombs reach and bomb Israel every single day. No country has been able to do that. Like no country has been able to blast Israel.
And specifically, they've been gaming out this exact scenario, knowing
Yeah,
that at some point America was going to do it.
now.
Like
For
that,
40
this was
years.
Yeah.
For 47 years.
And the Trump campaign didn't even war game the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, well, that's ridiculous. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, a fucking toddler could have told you that.
It's crazy how he actually admitted this. I still cannot believe he admitted this. He's like, nobody thought they were going to bomb our bases. Nobody thought they were going to close the Strait of Hormuz. It was really shocking.
His brain has gone. Did you see? He was talking about building the ballroom at the White House, and then told the military didn't want that they're going to have a military command bunker underneath it. He wasn't supposed to reveal that. The military didn't want him to reveal that. He just said it because he's got no control over the things that come out of his face. It's mad.
Jesus.
Anyways, I'm gonna get through I'm sorry, I started rambling and then we went into this.
No, you made great points.
No, I'm glad that you, because I did want to talk about Iran as well. So I'm glad you.
It's fucking bad, bro. Like it's bad. Like we're getting legitimate proof now that they're bombing civilian areas.
Yeah.
They're bombing civilian infrastructure. They bombed a fucking orphanage.
Yeah,
They're
orphanage.
bombing
I mean,
multiple. They're using the problem is one of the many layers of problems here. First of all, they're using AI. The problem is a lot of the structures, the buildings in Iran, they're named Khamenei. It's a fucking dictatorship. It's named based off of the dictator. What the fuck? You go into fucking North Korea, most things are probably going to be named Kim Jong-un too. That's kind of how it works, right? So these fucking morons are using AI to bomb Iran, but the problem is schools are named Khomeini, hospitals are named Khomeini. The same way we call like a library the Kennedy Center, they do that all over the world. So they're having these AI models fucking bomb random infrastructures because it's named Khomeini and Khamenei. I'm like, all right, you guys are not even having allegedly. This is my opinion because I've been studying this for like the past month. The problem, I think, reportedly, that they are not having a human person check these fucking models because they're just having the AI target anything that's called Khomeini, Khamenei, whatever. But then beyond that, they're also testing missiles in Iran that they've never used. So these missiles are not going to the right places that they're supposed to go. The same day that an elementary school was hit, a gym stadium was hit, and around 20 kids were murdered on that same day. And that one, they legitimately admitted, they were like, yeah, these are new missiles. We never use them. So we're just testing them out. So what are we doing? Like, what the fuck are we doing? My people are dead ass being used as guinea pigs for Palantir's next fucking state-of-the-art missile. Like, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? So it's really one of those situations where it's like there are so many layers to how absolutely egregious and fucked up this is. And it's like the toxic air, right? The toxic rain that was raining down onto 10 million people. We're talking, they keep bombing hospitals. Iran has been a sanctioned country for the past 20 years. They can barely even get medical supplies as it is. Now you're bombing 2 really big pharmaceutical sites that were manufacturing. things like chemo, things like anesthesia. So soon enough, if you guys keep doing this, there's going to be a huge shortage. No one can deliver anything. So it's going to be like Gaza, where people are cutting off limbs without anesthesia. Like, I don't think people are truly understanding the full scope of this, right? There are so many different layers of how fucked up this whole entire thing is. And I feel like I'm going a bit insane because I feel like I'm the only Iranian who has a big platform who's vehemently against this. And I just I need more people to I need you guys to start getting a little pep in your step, because it's starting to get the writing is on the wall very clearly. It's right there.
But having mentioned things being named after people in Iran, my favorite example of that is that the British embassy in Tel Aviv, in Tehran, the Iranian government changed the name of that street to Bobby Sands Street to name it after an IRA hunger striker.
Really?
Yeah, just to troll the British government. Yeah. So it's literally called
They're
Bobby
clever.
Sands.
I will say they're very clever.
No,
I
their
think that
PR is very good.
Their propaganda
their
game.
PR is fire, dude. I'm just damn, y'all.
Well, Saeed al-Zaraqchi's Twitter game is on point. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Their propaganda PR, I'm like, bro, y'all are kind of cooking, I fear. But the thing is, then again, right? A podcast like this would not exist in Iran. I lived in Iran.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You step outside the house, you can't say shit about the government. It's not, there is no concept of freedom of speech there, whatsoever. That does not exist, right? So they understand what Westerners are very upset about, and they kind of latch on to that in order to get public sympathy. But regardless, I don't think bombing is going to free the people of Iran. It's that simple. It's that fucking simple. No bombs have ever freed anyone. Oh, also, I did this. Sorry, I'm going to get to the next super chat after I say this. I did this interview and I was like, historically, no bombs have freed. Historically, America has never freed a country, and historically, bombs have never freed anyone. Okay, so these fucking annoying conservative people all stitched that video, and they were like, what about World War II? What about Nazi Germany? Okay, first of all, America joined that war mad late. They low-key didn't even fucking need us. They didn't even need us. And then they also joined after Pearl Harbor. So they weren't even, if Pearl Harbor hadn't have happened, more than likely wouldn't have fucking joined. But to go beyond that, you comparing multiple countries going in to save the spread of fascism to an ongoing illegal onslaught waged by Israel and America into Iran is a bit insane, right? That's clearly not what the fuck I was talking about. So
also, yeah. Also, it was the Soviet Union. It was the Soviet Union that freed
well,
Europe.
there is that as
it was
well.
80% of the Soviet Union, bro. What are we doing?
Also, the one time America ever fought fascism rather than aiding fascism, and they never shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Turn up 5 minutes late, take all the credit.
Yeah.
Again, I'll just point out 26 million Soviet citizens were killed in that war.
Sorry, exactly.
I think at best America gets the assist at most.
Yeah.
America is the one that saved. No, America was honestly a fucking clog in the wheel in that whole entire it was mainly the Soviets, and they joined hella late. They basically joined because they got peer pressure at that rate. I just and the fact that that's your one only example that you can give me of the hundreds of others we've had in the past 50 years tells me everything I need to know.
I do like that you just describe. I mean, I agree with you guys 100%, but I do think it was really funny that you described Pearl Harbor as peer pressure.
Yeah, the USS Arizona got peer pressure to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean.
So irritated.
That was a surprise. Japan knows about surprises.
Oh, that was amazing.
Oh my God,
that was amazing. He did that in front of the Japanese Prime Minister.
The amount of embarrassment this man has brought on Americans. I didn't think it was possible that we could embarrass ourselves anymore, and then we elected him twice. And
honestly, I think legally she should have just stabbed him or something.
Do you know, in 2016 there was a poll about the 2016 US election in the UK about who British people would vote for. Do you know more people said they'd vote for Jill Stein than would vote for Donald Trump?
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
I'm surprised the British probably even know who she is.
I know, it was crazy, wasn't it? I'm assuming they just picked this sort of woman's name and thought can't be worse than Trump. Clearly,
yeah,
probably worse than the Apprentice host.
That's hilarious.
Well, when it said in that article, he said "you're fired." I reckon he probably did literally do the "you're fired" to her as well, like literally pointed at her and
Probably.
everything. Like it's his catchphrase. You can't not do it when you get a chance, right?
Oh yeah, he's very flamboyant. Everything has to be like theatrical movie show. Like I feel like he thinks his life is like a movie. So he's not gonna do something like half-assed. Like that meeting was a huge blow up. He was probably trying to make her like get on her hands and knees and beg, and she did.
It's funny. It reminds me of the funny TikToks of Trump was born to be a teenage girl, and it's that woman doing the impressions of Trump. And the things she said, like, she doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan. And it's like 4 sentences, like, run, spot, run.
Yeah, he's a diva. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to go through these quick, I promise. V-Man, $10. Thank you so much. Ariana, the way you feel about leftist simping for Iranian government is the way I feel about people talking about Puerto Rico's local referendum. Seriously, despite them being rejected by UN, DOJ, and Senate. Not gonna lie to you, I don't know enough about Puerto Rico to comment on that, but I will say I think the idea that Iran puts out is nice, right? Like a lot of the propaganda that we talked about. But when it comes to their practices, they don't practice that. Like we saw how 3 protesters getting shot by ICE completely shook our whole entire nation. Well, in January, Iran had a bunch of protests, and it's reported by very reputable third-party organizations that anywhere from 5,000 to 8,000 people were killed. Now, you talk about Iranian diaspora. You talked about the Iranian diaspora. They'll say 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. I don't really know that number. I'm just telling you the number that has been verified for sure. And it's like no amount of people should be killed for protesting, whether it's 1 or 3 or 4 or 5. Like, I don't care. I fundamentally don't agree with that. So yeah, it is a bit, I think Americans, I think the problem is that people who grow up in the West were so coddled. Like, we never experienced bombs. We never experienced sanctions. We never experienced the struggle of like the whole entire country turning off their internet, turning off their power so that they can save and preserve power. We've never gone through economic hardship in that way or global hardship in that way because of the country that we live in. And so I think for a lot of people, it's very easy to kind of like forget that aspect and just kind of like narrow in on like, oh, well, they're anti-imperialist, which is true, they are, but that also doesn't mean that they do everything right. You know what I mean? Which they don't.
Yeah, being opposed to them getting, offensively and illegally attacked doesn't mean that you endorse their form of governments and, the authoritarianism. I think that people, at least I think most people acknowledge that. But I feel like you were saying, Ariana, like there's this disingenuous attempt to like say, oh, well, you support, authoritarianism,
right.
you endorse everything. When it's like, that's not the point that I'm making. It goes back to the, if you criticize Israel, anti-Semitic, there's always some disingenuous way to like
literally
smear an argument. Like there's no good faith response.
I'm sorry, you're off your fucking rocker if you think I support someone being called the supreme leader, ruling a country for 40 fucking years. Like, are you insane? I wouldn't like that in America, and I wouldn't like that in Iran either. Like, the concept of that is insane, right? Like, no, I don't want a supreme leader who's 90 years old who's been calling the shots since I was like before I was born. That's not something I'm frankly interested in.
And we all know the real supreme leader is Juan Guaido. So,
True. He has declared.
No, I'm never letting that fucking meme die. It's too funny.
That was amazing. Yeah. He was a guest at the State of the Union in like 2018, 2019. That was
What's he doing nowadays? What's he doing nowadays?
Probably podcast, if I had to guess.
Probably.
I'll go into that world. Okay, anyways. Sorry, chat. I'm gonna get through these quick, I promise. Nintendo Gaming, thank you so much for the $7. MAGA travelers face criticism abroad with comments like, we don't serve the US Nazi party MAGA clash with normal people worldwide. Yeah, I mean, I went to Brazil and it was really awkward whenever I told people I was American. I just started telling people I was Canadian. I'm sorry. I just did not want to deal with it.
Yeah. My friend is I have a friend who's currently studying in Japan, and there's like weirdo evangelical MAGA types on his course in Japan, and like it's hilarious just how like sheltered they are from the world. Like they didn't know the fact that like ICE were dragging people off the streets. They were just totally just only hearing whatever Newsmax was saying or whatever.
No, but it's stupid. It's so bad. They're like all in their own fucking tunnel. Anyways, Tigwig, thank you so much for the $50. I really appreciate it. That's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Lainey Lou, $10. Thank you so much. The Leftist Mafia should check out Doomsday Audio channel on YouTube. Also hang in there. I've been thinking of you. Appreciate you. Don't know what that is, but we should check it out.
Yeah.
Newfie Man, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Omega Shenron, thank you so much for the $10. So politicians, consulting groups, and PACs use any narrative involving kids all day dishonestly, but Miss Rachel mentions children who has proof of being a victim of a state of violence and it's bad and hateful. I mean, it's always a double standard, right? Like we were talking about the former fucking leader of Al-Qaeda shaking hands with Prime Minister of, Britain and America. I mean, it's a total double standard. Dude was on the top 10 most wanted list at some point. And now, like, I don't know, everyone's sucking on him. Like, I don't, it's just like a complete double standard,
Mm-hmm.
JD, thank you so much for the $20. Just sending out good vibes. I've been out of the loop this week. UK politics is a whole other beast and just as mind twisting. Thanks for the insights, of course. And thank you to our great guest. Thank you for the $10. Old Man of Philly, thank you so much for $10. Just a small token. I appreciate you for all the work you do. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hi, Kowalski. It is nice to hear an update on the situation of Airstrip 1 from the locals.
Nice reference. Yeah.
Huh?
Airstrip 1, it's what Britain's referred to in 1984, the George Orwell book.
Honestly, if you want shit about history, you got Kowalski's your man. Like, this dude knows history.
Yeah, he is a
from,
big history buff.
Prussia, 1500s, damn near. Like, he just knows so much history about so many random places. It's actually insane. This Orwellian nightmare will end the warm sunrise at 2 a.m. August 23rd, 2026, Greenwich Mean Time sad. I don't know. I'm kind of over it. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of just want to go to like a nice place in Ireland that's like in a little village of like 100 people and just have some animals and just completely check out and just be like, y'all be safe. I'm out. Wanda, thank you so much for the $5. Question to our guests: what are the chances UK is splitting apart and or dissolution of the monarchy?
The monarchy is staying place, but Scotland is almost certain it will go eventually. Wales is a different thing. The 6 counties is, I mean, who knows what will happen, but I think it will drift towards back towards reunification eventually. Just because the only people who aren't shit houses in Stormont is Sinn Féin.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit more hopeful of the dissolution, or at least the downgrading of the monarchy at some point in the not too distant future. Because people, it's like it's an anathema to modernity. I don't think people ultimately will accept it in a democratic society to have no elected upper chamber and no head of state that's elected. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, the reason why I think Scotland is definitely the most likely. Obviously, the polls are highest, but also in the next set of local elections, or in their case, national elections for the Scottish Parliament, it looks like there's a potential that there will be a nationalist government and a nationalist opposition on current polling, which is crazy because the Scottish Parliament is proportional representation, or at least some amalgamation of a constituency list and a regional list, meaning that the SNP have to do insanely well to have a majority, and they might have a majority despite it being somewhat proportional, and also the Scottish Greens, who are pro-independence, might also be in the opposition as well, which would be crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. My Thrabs, thank you so much for the $5. To many ex-Muslims, let their hate of Islam heavily bias their political opinions unhealthy. Also, I'm she, they, please, and thanks. Okay, thank you, my Thrabs. I appreciate it. I agree a lot, and it comes from that like religious trauma, right? But it's like go see a therapist, bro. Like, I'm so tired of it. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, stop fucking tweeting about your Islamophobia and go talk to, you know what? If you have to settle for ChatGPT, I'll accept it. Just go stop tweeting. Stop tweeting. Go talk to someone sane about it and like leave me the fuck alone, bro. Like, there was this one picture of me at like iftar with Mamdani, and it went fucking viral because Tommy Tuberville retweeted it, and it was like me in the background, and I was like, great, if some deranged person finds me, and kills me, blame it on fucking Tommy Tuberville. Like,
Can
I'm
I
just like, huh?
Can I just ask, as an outsider, how the fuck is Tommy Tuberville even a thing?
Right.
Like, just as a creature, how did how was he created? Like, where did he spawn from? Because he's not human, is he?
He spawned from the fucking depths of Satan's ball sack, and like where?
That's what a delightful phrase. Thank you.
College football is where he spawned from. That's where. He was a college football coach, and that was why he was a somebody who was able
all
to.
all the fucking CTE really ate his fucking brains, because like, goddamn, bro, so fucking stupid. Anyways, Robert, thank you so much for the 10 gift memberships. You're so sweet. Thank you. Justival, thank you so much for the $5. Girl, I did model UN all through university / school. Not in the wildest scenarios was this level of crazy shit happening.
True, so true.
You want to know how crazy it has to be for the model UN kids to be like, yeah, we didn't even cosplay these scenarios, man. Like, good luck. Man, yeah, I honestly, no, I feel like I'm losing brain cells on a daily basis. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I will say, I do think the only silver, I'll leave you guys with this. I do think the only silver lining of everything happening now is that it's not like 2001 where there were no Middle Eastern voices, and we all had to rely on mass media, and it was all one message that was being perpetuated at all times because there were no, differing opinions. There are so many Iranians now who are local, right, in many ways, but it's like it also gave someone like me a platform to be able to speak up and be against it, right? And that wouldn't have been a thing when I was a kid. So there is like that silver lining to it. But then again,
yeah, I saw your AP interview, by the way, the article.
Oh yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that reporter is really cool. I've had a lot of mass media interview me and not publish it. I think I may be a little too spicy for mass media. But it's just one of those things where it's like, whatever, we'll see how it goes. I have no faith, but we'll see. Anyways, chat, I'm so sorry. This was the longest I've ever taken to get through my supers, so I apologize. But
guys, just to show people real quick what I was talking about. Yeah, Ariana was interviewed by the Associated Press, so go check it out.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Cool.
That's awesome.
They literally came to my house too, and they took the portrait. It was really cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah,
that was cool. Thank you guys. Thank you for the humble brag. But yeah, I don't know. Tough times. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I will be better about coming on to these. I promise. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize for anything.
Honestly.
Apology accepted.
I appreciate it. All right, chat. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna let you guys get through your supers. I'm so sorry, guys. Kevin, No Justice MTG. I still don't know your name, bro. Like I've been
Selena.
Okay, Selena. I've been calling you No Justice MTG for like 4 years now.
I'm sure that's what most people will call me. So
just call her Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's make that.
Oh my god. No, I would never.
I am the entire game of Magic the Gathering. Although I was 40th at one point in the world. So,
guys, I really want to come to Britain this summer. So if I come, I'll let you know.
Do it.
Definitely, yeah.
Definitely come to Nottingham rather than Birmingham. We have fewer big rats.
Ew.
Yeah, but the big rats are going to be the size of T-Rexes by the time of the summer, so it'll be fine.
I want to see a big rat. I used to have a pet rat. I'm one of those people. Yeah.
But literally, no, they've been finding them. There was one that was like a foot long or something, like a really massive rat.
Really?
Yeah, it's scary.
Oh.
Well, they're giving rats in Washington, D.C. birth control now. So apparently rats get better access to healthcare than women do. But anyways, with that being said, I'm going to head out. Chat, I love you guys so much. Everyone on here, I love you.
Peace.
I will see you guys next week. Have a great night.
You take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Ariana.
Someone in the chat says they want to compare the rats to the New York rats, and I'm just like, well, I only learned this when I was doing a segment about Mamdani's like spending cuts, right? The video he posted that the New York City government under Eric Adams paid McKinsey fucking $1.6 million to tell them that you'll have fewer rats and less trash if you have bins.
Brilliant.
Literally $1.6 million for McKinsey to go, should we try wheelie bins, mate?
Also, what I will say is, if you want to do a comparison, I'll just say no rat in Birmingham has yet trained 4 turtles in martial arts. So they've got New York's got us beaten on that one, if nothing else.
So true.
Oh, so I think she accidentally ended the stream because it is uploading everything to cloud. Oh no,
Okay.
she ended the stream. Oh no. I could oh wait, we won't get our super chats back. Oh no.
Oh no.
Just
She
wonder,
did
I
us-
mean, oh well.
Shit.
Wait, I just realized what just happened. Unbelievable.
Yeah, so all the super chats are they're gonna be in the backlog now. Oh no.
It's because we gave her the admin capability so she could record one of her.
So okay.
So she's never seen it before, so she ended the stream.
Should I just create a new one really quick and
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I don't. But who are we gonna read though?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could call it and we could just try to go through them next week.
I mean, it is now 4:30, so.
Yeah, it is. It's late as hell for you guys.
True.
Yeah, you guys can go for sure. That's
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't blame you all.
Thank you for having me.
she has no idea, does she? Though that I'm gonna let her know.
Okay,
I mean, I also pass my thanks to Lance for
Yeah.
the shout out today.
Yeah, you both got to come back on again if you're willing to stay up again. That was so much fun.
It was. Honestly, I forgot just how insane our politics has been for the past like 3 years. There's so much. Every time I thought we'd finished off on all of the dumb shit that's been happening, it's just something else came up, right? Like,
yeah,
it's fascinating from just an American perspective to hear about like all the fucked up things that's happening. Like, it's sad, but like as an outsider, like I was saying, like it makes me feel so much better to know that like we're not the only ones dealing with an insane government. So like I enjoyed that so much.
and honestly, I'm just glad that because of this, every party is collapsing all at once. It means that my party of choice can do well. I never expected.
yeah.
I mean, when we were polling at 6, we got 6% of the vote at the last general election, and I was over the moon that we got 4 members of parliament, and now we might be the official opposition, potentially even might
That's
be
so
part of
cool.
the next government, and it feels like a fever dream.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Seeing the Greens rise is like,
Yeah, and it's also
it's
great.
hope.
I know the leader of the Green Party watches my stream.
No shit.
So he
Well,
will.
literally.
I will.
Well, let's not bury the lead here, right? She didn't interview him on his podcast. He interviewed her on his podcast.
Yeah, I did get
No
interviewed for Zach
way.
Polanski's
Which is
podcast.
fucking amazing. The future
That's
prime
so
minister
cool.
interviewed her.
Yeah, because I will hear him
Hell yeah.
like say things that I've said on stream, and like when he's talking to journalists and shit like that, and I'm just like, this is my project.
All
This
I'll
is
say
my, that's my thing.
Yeah. The fact that he may have heard my voice, I think, should be very worrying for the British people.
He must have heard at some point Kevin reach a hype train on Twitch and say, "Get me to the level 3 of the hype train, and I will finger this dead fascist." Right, which Kevin is known to do.
Somebody said in the chat, they're like, Kevin is the British Mike from the Humanist Report. I'm like, okay, that gives me some insight into your sense of humor.
Okay, well, I'll take that. Yeah, that's a huge compliment for me. Not so much for you, but for me, definitely.
I take it as a compliment.
Oh, thank you.
Your humor is amazing. It resonates with me. So I think maybe we're on the same wavelength with regard to what we
good.
find funny.
Also, I didn't realize I'd been unfollowed from you on Twitter because you followed me, and I was like, follow back? I thought I was already following him.
I thought that I was already following you as well. And I feel like the same is true because I've seen you on Twitter, No Justice MTG, but apparently I haven't been following. I don't know if it's just like unfollowing people for me. I don't think I've unfollowed anybody in like forever. So I apologize. I was not trying to be cold. I'm happy to follow you officially finally.
I think I basically on my stream I only talk about UK politics. I talk like fully all UK domestic stuff, sometimes like foreign policy, but I very rarely talk about anything else outside of that. So despite the fact that that I work with Novara Media, they've got like 1.2 million subs or whatever it is, because it's all again because it's not, the wires are never going to really cross. I assume most American creators just don't know who I am. So
yeah. No, I've definitely seen you.
I had to bite my tongue because someone in chat said that Ash Sarkar was the best thing about Novara Media, and I was about to fucking jump on the bitch. I swear to God.
I mean, to be fair, like I mean, I'll say Ash Sarkar is the best thing about Novara Media. She's incredible, but like
she's the poor man's No Justice MTG.
So true, so true. But yeah, like I know Matt coming on Novara, people like that, but only bits and pieces here and there in terms of American creators. Because up until the Iran stuff happened, we didn't really cover much US news on Novara as well. It was mostly UK news and things like that. So
I love Navarro. Anything that I've seen from them, like I'm not super familiar, but whenever I've seen like anything from them, it's always been very like left a positive impression. So
I feel super.
Always a pleasure to go on there. It's a great. You guys doing something great stuff over there.
I mean, it's incredible that we have such a big leftist media platform in the UK that's all totally independent, which is really good. I mean, to the level at which our journalists get invited on like Question Time and get to sit there and debate like the mainstream politicians on the BBC and shit like that. So there's literally a moment where Ash Sarkar from Novara Media was invited on to talk about Trump appointing Tony Blair to their fucking, to be the Grand Mufti of Gaza in their like Trump Gaza plan, and Ash's response was, clearly Satan was unavailable. That's why they've picked Tony Blair on like the mainstream BBC talk show. It was so good.
That is amazing.
Was nice as fuck, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to bed because it's
all right.
I still can't believe she shut the stream off.
Yeah, I don't know what we should do. Should we just start a quick one and read
no? Because once you lose those people on the stream, they're not going to come back, and that's going to be pointless. We just gotta go. Okay. I would go through your channel. I mean, because there's a lot of super chats.
I'll screenshot them so I can actually read them.
If you go by your own channel super chats, it's not going to be that crazy. It's just that David's and whoever else wasn't here. That's too bad for everyone who gave them super chats.
Right.
And we'll go through our super chats from the screenshots next week or something.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. I'm screenshotting them all.
I'll see you all at some other point, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll do this for sure. You take care. Again, so much fun. Really enjoyed it.
It's been absolutely right. Thank you very much for having me on. The pleasure.
Yeah, you take care.
Take care, everyone.
You should do it again sometime. Take care.
Absolutely.